What happens when you wake up on your 21st birthday only to find that you wield the power that can end all life on Earth? But this comes at a price that you might not be willing to pay. But what if you have no choice? What if your father died so that you could have this power? What if you never had a choice in the first place? And most of all, what if you're already leading a life of crime? What if you're the best hitman in New York City? All these questions and more are what Jackie Estacado has to face in the darkness. So without further ado, let's get to it. The Darkness number 1, Coming of Age. Our story begins in the Lower East Side of New York City. A smartly dressed blonde man walks through the streets on this freezing night while swinging his car keys on his fingers. Although he is in a merry mood, it is about to turn sour because there is a man spying on him from a nearby car. Inside the car is Jackie Estacado, Don Franchetti's right-hand man, or as Jackie likes to call him, Uncle Frankie. Don Franchetti is on the fence, worrying whether he should order the hit or not. He asks Jackie for the man's description, and Jackie tells him that he looks like a slime ball. "Oh, what the hell? Kill him!" Jackie smiles wickedly and then drives his sports car directly into the man. The bonnet of the car crashes into the man and crushes his legs instantly. He cries out in horror and tries to scream at the driver, but when he sees Jackie's face, he realizes that it's all over for him. With fear on his face, the man simply accepts his fate, and Jackie shoots him in the head at point-blank range. Jackie then walks away from the car, leaving the man's bloodied body on its bonnet. We then see Jackie head to his regular bar on 92nd Street, Keepers. Jackie's next encounter shows us that he is too familiar with the bar. The bartender, Jenny, is his friend, and turns out, despite all his bad boy demeanor, Jackie does not drink. He simply sips on milk whenever he is in the bar. Jackie then quickly picks up an aspiring actress for the night by promising her a role and by posing as a TV show producer. They go back to Jackie's place to have a fun night, but unbeknownst to them, a dark entity is keeping a close eye on them. This is the Brotherhood of Darkness, an evil organization that worships an ancient force. The occultists are using a magic portal to keep an eye on Jackie, and one of them thinks that he's quite immoral to be the host of the ancient force that they worship. This ancient force is the darkness, and turns out that the Brotherhood isn't the only one keeping a close eye on Jackie. Angelus, the force of light, as old as the darkness, has also been spying on Jackie ever since he was chosen as the host. The darkness takes over on the 21st birthday of the host, and Jackie is about to turn 21 in a day or two. The leader of the Brotherhood knows that Angelus has something evil planned and that they need to be ready for them. The leader is right, because the next page takes us to the headquarters of Angelus, which is at the top of the Empire State Building. Angelus plans to strike as soon as the darkness takes hold of Jackie. They have waited this long because killing Jackie, once he has become the host, will also mean the end of the darkness. Jackie won't have enough time to get control of his powers, and they can use this to their advantage. Oh, and before I continue, just a small request. If you have liked the video thus far, please consider subscribing to us. It may be a small click for you, but it helps us in tremendous ways to keep bringing you these marvelous long reads. And now, let's continue. The next morning, however, doesn't bring good news for Jackie. The man Jackie killed last night was a member of the Marchiani mob, and someone from their gang had snitched to Don Marchiani about the murder. Not only was the man close to Don Marchiani, but he was also going to be his son-in-law within the next 10 days. Don Franchetti is currently on a call with him, and although he tries to deny responsibility, everybody knows that the murder was committed by Jackie, and if Jackie commits a murder, the hit was obviously called by Don Franchetti. The two have a heated argument, and at the end of it, Don Franchetti slams the phone down. Everyone in the gang knows what this call means. This means war. Once the call is over, Don Franchetti gets up and gives Jackie a tight hug. Jackie has been working for the mob ever since he turned 6, which is why Don Franchetti tells him everything, and this incident is no different. He tells Jackie that Don Marchiani decapitated Joey Finnegan earlier today. Joey was their contact in the Marchiani gang. Joey was a close associate, and only the closest among Don Franchetti's crew knew about him. Jackie is quite observant, because as soon as this information is revealed, he notices that Mo begins to sweat profusely. He blames Mo for snitching out, but before Jackie can take any action, a grenade comes crashing in through the window. Jackie has to think quickly on his feet. He punches Mo in the gut and then throws him on top of the grenade. Mo's large body absorbs the explosion. However, this leaves him fatally wounded. With his last breath, Mo tells Jackie that he never betrayed or ratted out on Joey. How about that? Oh well, no hard feelings, Mo. No hard feelings, Jackie. Mo passes away, and Don Franchetti has lost not one but two members of his gang within a few hours. The war has begun, and Don Franchetti orders Jackie to take down Don Marchiani no matter what it takes. We now catch up with Jackie at night. He is in his bed, prepping his gun, while talking to Vinny, his partner. Jackie has scouted Don Marchiani's place, and things aren't looking that great. His entire house is built and guarded like a fortress, and they will need something ingenious if they are to carry out this hit. However, while Jackie is talking to Vinny, a strange voice begins to echo in his head. Jackie, your time, Jackie. Gun's no good, Jackie. Not against this, Jackie. Your time's come around, dark time. And with this, Jackie feels a searing pain course through his entire body. It starts from the inside of his mind, goes down to his eyes, and then slowly takes over his entire skin. As Jackie screams aloud in pain, dark matter starts to surround him. Today is Jackie's 21st birthday, and his life is about to change forever. Outside Jackie's apartment, the Brotherhood's men are standing guard, but when they hear Jackie scream, they realize that they are too late. The darkness has begun to take over him, and they know that this will bring the Angelus, and even though they are dressed in tactical gear and have the best equipment possible, they are no match for the Angelus. Inside, Jackie's writhing in pain. His body is convulsing and spasming as the dark matter continues to surround his skin, and the voice continues to echo in his mind, growing louder and louder. No fighting this, Jackie. Shouldn't want to fight this, Jackie. This is all you, Jackie. And with this final word, Jackie drops to his knees and belches. A thick, dark liquid begins to pour out of his mouth. As Jackie recovers from what has just happened, the Brotherhood breaks into his apartment, but it is already too late. Jackie stares into the dark liquid on the floor in front of him and sees a demonic face staring back at him. Just let it happen, Jackie. This is your birthright. The men try to get a hold of Jackie. They tell Jackie that they are here for him and that they can help him, but before they can say more, the apartment door swings wide open and soldiers of the Angelus step inside. These soldiers are female warriors, covered head to toe in bright light, with the same dark matter that poured out of Jackie forming their wings, armor, and weapons. Jackie is still on the floor, barely conscious, as he watches the Angelus take out the men meticulously. The raspy and growling voice that started this all echoes once again in Jackie's head. You don't have to die, Jackie. Just let it out, Jackie. Let what out? What am I meant to do? Anything you want, Jackie. Anything you want. Just let the darkness out. And so Jackie gives in, and his entire body is engulfed in darkness. Shadows from around the apartment swarm to him, and the darkness slowly begins to birth demonic entities. These entities are limitless. They lunge at the Angelus soldiers and attack them mercilessly. The tear of their limbs, rip off their wings, and within minutes, it is all over. Jackie falls to his knees, and the darkness that surrounded him moments ago is now gone. One of the men from the Brotherhood have managed to survive the assault, but he has a huge sword sticking through his chest. Jackie tries to be merciful and ends the man's life, even before the man can tell him that he needs to go to the Liberty Tower, building, statue. Who knows? Jackie kills the man before we can learn more. But while Jackie is down and coming to terms with what has just happened, another threat looms over his head. An assassin sent by Don Marchiani. Jackie tries to buy time as the assassin tells him that they have attacked all their bases, and by now, Don Franchetti should be dead as well. He then puts a shotgun directly against Jackie's face and says, "Tell the fat bastard I said hello." But as Jackie had expected, the voice again echoes in his head. "Don't you forget, Jackie. Anything you want, just let it out." And this time, Jackie doesn't hold back, and we get to see his true form. Jackie is now covered from head to toe in green and silver armor. He has a metallic silver mask on his face and spikes protruding from his back. Jackie and his demons quickly kill the assassin with a single move. While his demons feast on the man's body, Jackie calls Vinny and learns that what the assassin told him was true. Vinny had been trying to get a hold of Jackie for the past hour, but Jackie simply didn't answer his phone. Don Franchetti has survived the assault and is on the way to the hospital, but Vinny doesn't have much hope for his survival. "Jackie, I think Marchiani has already won." "No, he hasn't. I'm gonna end this tonight." We then head to Don Marchiani's house and learn that he is one paranoid gang leader. He has 200 men guarding his house as well as multiple dogs that roam the entire perimeter. Yet he refuses to go to the loo without his men standing guard. His men joke about this while Don Marchiani takes a dump while reading a newspaper. Suddenly, the dark matter surrounding Jackie earlier protrudes out of the pot, gags Don Marchiani, and begins pulling him into the pot. Blood sprays everywhere as Don Marchiani desperately claws at the dark matter, holding his mouth shut, and manages to let out a scream. His men realize that something is wrong and they quickly break into the toilet. But when they head inside, it's too late. Don Marchiani's legs hang out of the bloodied toilet, with his torso nowhere in sight. We now get a glimpse into the extent of Jackie's powers because he was nowhere near Don Marchiani's house. He is standing outside the perimeter of the house, simply staring at it from far away as the dark matter that killed the Don slowly returns to him. Anything you want, Jackie. Didn't we say? Anything you want. Jackie now decides to confront the power that he has been wielding all night. This power calls itself the Darkness, and although Jackie has tons of questions on his mind, he decides to ask the most important one. What is the Darkness? Haven't you guessed, Jackie? You are the Darkness, Jackie. You have the power, Jackie. You can do anything, and you will pay the price. The Darkness number 2, Underworld. The next morning, Jackie hears Jenny calling out to him. He opens his eyes only to find Jenny staring at him with concern all over her face. Jackie feels a disgusting smell waft up his nose, and he soon realizes that he is covered in filth. Turns out, Jackie passed out in the garbage last night outside the bar. Jenny invites him inside for a coffee while he tries to grapple with his current situation. While Jackie sips his coffee, Jenny exclaims that she never expected Jackie to drink, let alone find him in the garbage outside. Jackie tells her that he hasn't started drinking, but he does have a hangover of sorts. But it's not the kind of hangover people have after a heavy night of drinking. Instead, Jackie is haunted by the word darkness over and over again. Jenny disposes a banana peel that was still stuck on Jackie as Jackie continues to try and remember what happened last night. Jackie has a faint memory of visiting New Jersey last night. As this memory comes back to Jackie, so do the demons that he wields. When Jackie looks down in the cup of coffee, he finds a menacing and demonic face staring right back at him. He then remembers everything that happened last night, how he turned into the darkness, disposed off Don Marchiani, and the hundreds of demons at his disposal. Jackie drops the coffee in shock and recoils in horror, and then walks away from the bar before Jenny can ask any questions. We then visit the Brotherhood of Darkness's hideout again, where their leader, Lord Sonatine, has been keeping a close eye on Jackie. Lord Sonatine had sent a team to Jackie's apartment to check in on the men that he had sent there last night. As he had expected, the entire scene was a massacre. His men found 4 of their own warriors and 6 Angelus warriors, alongside a hired assassin, dead at Jackie's apartment. Lord Sonatine is happy that Jackie has turned into the darkness, but now that he has the power at his disposal, it'll become harder for them to make him join their cause. Either way, he orders his men to continue keeping an eye on the apartment while he stays by the looking pool. The next time Jackie uses his power, Lord Sonatine will be able to easily detect him. We then see Jackie checking up on Don Franchetti, whom he lovingly calls Uncle Frankie. Don Franchetti is in the ICU and he is fighting for his life. Jackie talks to Vinny on the outside as he keeps a close eye on his uncle. Vinny tells Jackie that the bullet managed to clip Don Franchetti's heart. This is why the next 48 hours are crucial for his survival. He also tells Jackie about Don Marchiani's murder, how the Don was killed while he was on the pot. Don Marchiani's nephew is now in charge instead of him, and he is already ready to make peace and end the war. And although this is good news, Jackie can't help but worry about his uncle and if he will survive to witness the end of war. Once he is done worrying, Jackie asks Vinny for a favour. He wants Vinny to take care of the bodies at the apartment, and this isn't a problem for Vinny at all. But when Jackie says that the bodies might be a bit weird and that they might have wings, Vinny's suddenly taken aback. Vinny takes a moment to choose his next words carefully and then says, "Jackie, are you okay? Because I mean, well, if you're into anything weird or whatever, that's cool, but I wouldn't want anything happening to you. You know, it ain't gonna help Don Frankie's recovery too much if his #1 hitter gets busted for some kind of perverted twisted deviancy. I'm fine, Vinny. Go call Butcher, okay? While Vinny is gone, Jackie stands in the hospital, wondering how he's going to handle the new powers that he's just received. He then remembers what the dying man had told him, that he needs to go to Liberty. Meanwhile, back at the Empire State Building, Angelus is busy hatching a new plan to kill Jackie. The problem she now faces is that her warriors failed to kill Jackie, but she also knows that she was being too ambitious by hoping that she would kill him before the darkness took over. The plan now is to kill Jackie before he has the chance to breed and pass on the darkness to his heir, and although she would send in her warriors again, she has a different plan. Angelus waves her fingers and we see a beautiful woman made of gold form in the mirror in front of her. We then catch up with Jackie again, who has taken a ferry to Liberty Island. Unbeknownst to Jackie back at the base, the entire Brotherhood is panicking and getting ready for his arrival. Jackie arrives at the island and nothing seems out of the ordinary at first, but that is until he looks up at the statue's face. The Statue of Liberty's face has been altered by the darkness to resemble one of his demons. Jackie then screams out in pain as he is quickly rendered unconscious by the Brotherhood. The man on the outside informs Lord Sonatine that his trick worked and that Jackie is unconscious. It is then that we hear Lord Sonatine say, "It won't last long, bring him below quickly." It is way past the time that Jackie Estacado learned about his birthright. A few minutes pass by and the unconscious Jackie is then woken up by Lord Sonatine. Before Jackie even has a chance to gather his bearings, Lord Sonatine begins to spew exposition as though he's a B-movie villain. He tells Jackie that he is 100 feet below the Statue of Liberty and is currently at the most important point in his life. You are the inheritor of the darkness, and therefore of power beyond your wildest imagining. You are going to change the world, Jackie Estacado. You are going to rip it to pieces and rebuild it in the image desired by the Brotherhood of Darkness. You want to slow down for a second? What Brotherhood? Lord Sonatine then goes on to tell Jackie about the Brotherhood of Darkness, and to Jackie's surprise, he realizes that he is surrounded by hundreds of men from the Brotherhood. Lord Sonatine introduces himself and welcomes Jackie to the Brotherhood, only for Jackie to threaten him in exchange for answers that he is seeking. Lord Sonatine tells Jackie that he should be grateful that the Brotherhood found him before he wasted the power of darkness. He goes on to tell Jackie that he wields an ancient power that was bestowed upon his bloodline centuries ago. Lord Sonatine tells Jackie that there are powers on this earth that have been with them for centuries. No one knows if they come from other worlds or perhaps were handed down by gods. These powers require a human host, and Jackie is the chosen host for the darkness. He tells Jackie that one of these powers is the Witchblade. It is a warrior's weapon. Then there is Angelus, which is an agent of tyrannical law and order. And finally, the greatest of all, the darkness, a glorious entity of chaos and wild abandon. He tells Jackie that those who wield the darkness are blessed with the power of creation. They can form whatever shapes and entities they choose. Lord Sonatine then mentions the demise of Don Marchiani, and Jackie realizes that the Brotherhood has been spying on him all along. Lord Sonatine then reveals previous leaders of the darkness had squandered their power on petty pleasures, but Miguel Estacado was a man of vision. He was one of your ancestors, and he dreamed of a world at his command, a world where he and the Brotherhood of followers he founded would be treated like gods. Turns out that the Brotherhood has been hard at this job for half a millennium, but they are thwarted each time by Angelus, who grows stronger and stronger. But now we have you, Estacado. With you, we will not fail. We will train you and guide you, and you will give us the world your ancestor dreamed of. The hell I will. Lord Sonatine calls Jackie foolish and implores him to see the benefits that the two of them can reap together. He says that Jackie doesn't even know how to use his powers, but Jackie doesn't listen. He tells Lord Sonatine to stay out of his way, and this prompts him to order his men to ambush Jackie, who reaches for his gun, only to realize that it isn't there. It was confiscated by Lord Sonatine while Jackie was unconscious. Lord Sonatine taunts Jackie with his own gun, and this is when the same dark, raspy voice echoes inside Jackie's head once again. But you don't need a gun, Jackie. Just like before, Jackie. All you gotta do is to let the darkness out, and Jackie does exactly that. He unleashes his ghouls and demons upon the Brotherhood, who make quick work of the men, but Lord Sonatine knows enough magic to protect himself and his right hand. He tells Jackie to see the benefits of joining the Brotherhood, only for Jackie to threaten him with his life. And we then see that although the magic that Lord Sonatine is using is able to keep Jackie's ghouls and demons at bay, it does not affect Jackie himself. Jackie then leaves the base without saying a word, while Lord Sonatine's right-hand man questions his boss's decision. Lord Sonatine tells his right-hand man, who is named Wenders, that he couldn't let Jackie realise that he could have easily overwhelmed Lord Sonatine's powers. He orders Wenders to follow Jackie's movements. They will approach him again once Jackie has calmed down. Jackie then shows up to the bar as usual, and Jenny is relieved to see that Jackie is back to himself and his usual ways. Jackie orders a glass of milk and then hits on a blonde woman wearing a golden dress. As the night passes by, the two of them hit it off. Meanwhile, on the outside, the Brotherhood is keeping a close eye on Jackie's movements from a limousine. They inform Lord Sonatine that Jackie has calmed down and it looks like it is safe to approach him. Lord Sonatine tells them to keep a close eye on him. He is only 5 blocks away and should be there soon. However, by the time Lord Sonatine reaches the bar, Jackie is already gone. They press Jenny about Jackie's whereabouts and she finally gives in and tells them that he met someone and left with her. And that is when we see Lord Sonatine panic. He angrily grabs Wenders and screams, "He's gone home with a woman. He is a dead man. He is going to wreck everything. We have to find him. We have to stop him now. We have to stop him from having sex." The Darkness number 3, Almost an Angel. Lord Sonatine and his men have now kidnapped Jenny. They drag her outside to their limousine and force her into the car. Vinny tries to intervene, but Lord Sonatine quickly uses his powers to recreate his memories. "Your mother was a prostitute. Your father was her pimp. Start believing now." And the moment Vinny hears these words, he cries out in pain and falls to his knees. Lord Sonatine and his men then photograph Jenny and shove her into the car. We then catch up with Jackie and his date for the night, and to no one's surprise, Jackie's apartment is on the 69th floor. The two walk in and begin making out on the couch when Jackie hears a weird noise coming from the bathroom. Despite his date's protests, Jackie figures that he should check it out. He gets up and sneakily peeks into the bathroom, only to then get the shock of his life. Butcher is inside disposing of the bodies that Jackie left in the apartment earlier. Jackie had totally forgotten about the favour he asked from Vinny, and the scene inside the bathroom is the stuff of nightmares. Well, that is except Butcher, who is a jovial man that greets Jackie with a huge smile on his face. However, his white smile is in stark contrast with what is going on currently in the bathroom. Limbs, faces and wings line every corner of the floor. Butcher is using the bathtub to dissolve all the bodies after dismembering them. He is using the sink to create his own personal concoction of the acid, and what remains of the bodies after being dissolved in the acid is being flushed down the toilet. Jackie then hears his date call out to him, and in an attempt to hide what is going on in the bathroom, Jackie steps inside and asks her to wait for him. Meanwhile, while Jackie tries to handle the situation in the apartment, Lord Sonatine and his men have arrived below. Lord Sonatine is panicking because if Jackie dies tonight, he will again have to wait for 21 years in his cave below the Statue of Liberty. He orders his henchmen to isolate Jackie from the woman as soon as they get inside the apartment. Back in the apartment, Jackie is talking to Butcher, and he learns that only the living room is clean. Butcher warns him from going into the bedroom because he still hasn't cleaned it. And while talking to Butcher, Jackie also learns that Don Franchetti was not attacked by a random henchman from far away using a sniper. He instead was attacked by the Eastwood brothers. The Eastwood brothers are 2 relentless hitmen known for their ruthlessness. And if Don Franchetti was attacked by the Eastwood brothers, then this means someone specially hired them for the job. But this is in stark contrast to what Vinny told him. Vinny was there when Uncle Frankie was shot, and he claims that it was a gunman using a sniper from far away. Jackie remembers that the assassin who attacked him mentioned the Eastwood brothers, but he decides to solve this entire conspiracy some other day. Jackie decides to go back outside and focus on his date, but before the two of them can do anything, the front door is blown wide open by Lord Sonatine and his men. Jackie is tired of people interrupting his night. He instantly turns into the darkness and attacks Lord Sonatine. The helpless leader of this misguided cult desperately screams for Jackie, to listen to his warnings. "Jackie, I'm here to save your life. Listen to me. Your power is passed on at the moment of conception. It travels to the egg with a sperm, and as new life begins, for the new champion of the darkness, it ends for the old. If you had gone much further with this female, you would have died." At first, Jackie doesn't pay attention to what Lord Sonatine is saying. I mean, what kind of power will kill you if you have sex? He grabs Lord Sonatine by the throat and throws him to the ground. Their scuffle, however, is soon interrupted by Butcher Joyce, who opens the bathroom door to peek out and check if Jackie is okay. When he sees that Jackie has turned into some kind of monster, he quickly closes the bathroom door and gets back to his job. The woman, however, is awfully cool about this entire scene. She does not seem startled by Jackie's sudden change in appearance or the fact that 6 men have barged into the house while she is half naked. Despite the bizarre scenario, she's hell-bent on sleeping with Jackie. This sticks out to him, and suddenly Jackie isn't in the mood to have sex. Lord Sonatine's men take the woman away, and Jackie gives him the benefit of doubt. Even if what Lord Sonatine's saying is true, Jackie always makes sure that he is careful, and that is when it dawns to him what it actually means. Condoms and contraceptives won't work against sperms powered by the darkness. Jackie falls to his knees and lets out a guttural scream when he realizes that he won't be able to have sex anymore. Jackie screamed so loud that even the woman who is being taken away by Lord Sonatine's men hears him, and we learn that she is a familiar created by the Angelus. Because the woman has failed her purpose, Angelus orders her to proceed with Plan B. Up above in the apartment Jackie is cribbing about, not being able to have sex ever again. This is when Wenders hears the elevator coming up. He decides to check in on the men, only to discover that they have been turned into slush. Lord Sonatine and Wenders both fear for their life as the Angelus familiar stalks them because Jackie is refusing to use his powers. What is the point of having these powers if he can't have sex ever again? But that is when Lord Sonatine tells him that he doesn't have to give up sex, and these were the magic words that Jackie needed to hear. He springs into action and makes quick work of the familiar. He then turns his attention towards Lord Sonatine, who tells him that he can't sleep with mortal women, but he can sleep with his own creations. Lord Sonatine tells him that this is what the previous hosts of the darkness used to do, and Lord Sonatine can teach him this talent only if he decides to come with him and join the Brotherhood. Jackie refuses because joining a cult isn't exactly his style, and that is when Lord Sonatine reveals that he has held Jenny captive. Jackie now has no choice but to listen and obey Lord Sonatine's commands. This entire exchange is being watched by Angelus through the familiar's body. She has already guessed what Lord Sonatine is planning, and she has a way of turning the situation to their advantage. We then see Lord Sonatine take Jackie on a huge road trip, and while they travel for hours, Jackie learns a few things about his powers. Firstly, that he can create mortal women, but learning the intricacies of human anatomy will take time. He has only had a few days with his powers, but their opposition, Angelus, has been alive for over 900 years. They finally arrive at their intended destination, and Lord Sonatine reveals why Jackie has been brought here. It's because it is daytime, and with no structure around, there is no shadow. And if there is no shadow, Jackie can't use his powers. Now take a look around you on this glorious midwinter morning. See if you can find even a shadow to hide in, and then tell me who's the boss. Lord Sonatine's men point their guns at Jackie as he blackmails him into working with them. He is going to hold Jenny captive, and he has learnt that she is the only one Jackie cares about. Well, that is after his uncle, Frankie. You will listen to me and obey my commands because you are currently so utterly vulnerable. Indeed, he is Lord Sonatine. They all turn around to see who has said this, only to find that they have been ambushed by the Angelus. She has used Lord Sonatine's own plan against him. Now that Jackie is vulnerable and out in the daylight, she can easily kill him. Lord Sonatine's stupidity has doomed them all. The darkness number 4 brought to light. Having been confronted by Angelus and her familiars, Jackie realizes that she is as crazy as Lord Sonatine. Just like him, she wants to rule the world. She plans to get rid of the darkness all along, and once that is done, she will force the world to worship her. As she continues to gloat, Jackie talks to Lord Sonatine and learns that most of her familiars are bulletproof. And the sad part is, right now, they only have guns against them. Jackie then gets a spark of hope when he learns that the familiar closest to the Angelus might be human. And if she is human, it could only mean one thing, that she is the Angelus's lover. Before Jackie can form her coherent plan, the Angelus attacks and explodes one of Lord Sonatine's henchmen. Jackie quickly snatches the revolver from Wenders Wenders and shoots Angelus's lover in the leg. When she falls to the ground, Jackie runs up to her and quickly holds her hostage. Jackie's suspicion was right. This familiar is the Angelus's lover, because right now she is screaming at the top of her lungs. No! Hurt her and you're dead. Harm one hair on her head and I'll hunt you to the ends of the earth. I will rip out your living soul. Jackie Wenders and Lord Sonatine quickly run towards their car while holding the familiar hostage and drive away. Jackie promises not to harm the familiar, but says that he will get back to Angelus with his own demands very soon. Angelus screams and curses at Jackie, but she has no choice but to let them get away. While on their way back, Lord Sonatine tries to ask Jackie why he cares about Jenny so much, but Jackie ignores the question. He instead has a request of his own. He knows that Lord Sonatine holds all the aces in this deal. He has Jenny hostage, which means that Jackie is forced to obey his every command. He now holds the Angelus lover hostage, which means that the Angelus is also at his mercy. Jackie has just saved Lord Sonatine's life, while even managing to get him a precious hostage in the process. All Jackie wants in return is 24 hours to wrap up open ends from his previous life before he joins the Brotherhood. Lord Sonatine agrees and lets Jackie do whatever he needs to do. The next 2 pages show the extent of Angelus's rage. She has created and deployed hundreds of familiars all around the city of New York. She orders them to scour every corner of the city. The art on these 2 pages is nothing short of perfection, especially when you take into account that this comic was published in 1996. The beautiful sunset in the background while the screaming Angelus in the foreground makes for a beautifully juxtaposed scene. The haste in the familiar's movements is clearly visible, and the urgency to find Angelus's lover before the sun sets is quite prominent. They want to find their master's lover before it gets dark and before Jackie gets his full powers. But they aren't who should be worried about Jackie right now. Someone else should be. Jackie is at a nearly abandoned bar in the rundown parts of the city. He is looking for the Eastwood brothers, and when the bar owner fails to disclose their location, Jackie quickly grabs his head and slams it into the table. The owner tells him that the Eastwood brothers are playing pool in the back, and Jackie quickly goes to meet them. The 2 brothers are quite reluctant to help at first, but when Jackie turns into his true form, they are more than happy to speak to him. The 2 of them accept that they took the contract of killing Don Franchetti, but unfortunately, they can't disclose who ordered the hit. Within a split second, Jackie tears off the fat brother's head, and this leaves the other one trembling to his core. He quickly blurts out that the hit was ordered by none other than Vinny himself, and once Jackie has this information, he rips out the man's skeleton out of his nose. "Sorry about the mess back there," he says to the bar owner as he goes on his way. Back at the base of the Brotherhood, meanwhile, Lord Sonatine has used his powers to convince Jenny to tell him the truth about her and Jackie's relationship. Jenny is forced to reveal the truth, and it turns out that Jackie and she are childhood friends. They are both orphans. Jenny's mother died when she was 2 months old from a bad batch of heroin. As for Jackie, Jenny never knew how he became an orphan, but the 2 of them were enrolled in the same orphanage on the same hour of the same day. It was like the 2 of them were destined to be together. Jackie always felt the closest to her because of this reason, and true to Jackie's nature, he always protected her. The orphanage was run by the Catholic Church, and this meant that the children were taught by monks. The monks, however, weren't very nice. They would beat the children with sticks any chance they got. Jackie had the reputation of beating up any monk that decided to lay his hands on Jenny, and he wouldn't intervene or verbally protest. Jackie always made sure that the monks ended up in the hospital. He had stabbed many of them in the neck with a pencil. This one monk really hated him. He'd say, "You are nothing, Estacado. You're gonna grow up to be just another penniless bum in the gutter." And Jackie would look him in the eyes and always say, "I'll never be like that." Jenny continues to recall how Jackie earned a reputation for violence, which resulted in him getting recruited by Don Franchetti. Don Franchetti adopted Jackie by claiming to be his long-lost uncle. And although, while leaving, Jackie had begged to take Jenny along, with a heavy heart, Don Franchetti had said to him, "I'm afraid not, but you can visit her any time you want." Jenny is on the verge of tears as she continues to tell Lord Sonatine, "Jackie came over and took my hands. He was so serious, so old. He said, 'I will always come back for you, Jenny.' Then he held me tight, and he did. He always came back to visit me." Although this is a sweet and core memory for Jackie and Jenny, for Lord Lord Sonatine, this is just ammunition. He knows how to use this, not only against Jackie, but also against Jenny. He calls her a worthless whore and tells her that he can guess what happened after that. Although Lord Sonatine paints a nasty picture, what he guesses is mostly true. Jackie regularly visited Jenny and eventually got her the job at the nightclub, blissfully unaware that she had been in love with him all along. And despite this, Jenny never expressed her feelings for him. She forced herself to watch every night as Jackie went back to his apartment with a new girl, because deep down, she knew that Jackie would never like her, and so she settled for the next best thing, being Jackie's best friend. You really are a vermin, aren't you? Thank you, my dear. I do my best. We then catch up with Jackie, who is now at the hospital, ready to confront Vinny. As soon as Jackie tells him that he met the Eastwood brothers, Vinny puts a gun against his head. Before Jackie makes us move, he tells Vinny that he wants to know why he ordered a hit on Don Franchetti. After all, despite them being in the mob, Jackie had always been under the impression that they all were friends. After all, they had spent so much time in the business together. But that is when Vinny reveals that it was simply greed that led him to do this. Jackie, wake the hell up. We're in the goddamn mafia here. Friends only counts when we ain't doing business, and we're always doing business. You can't afford to be this stupid kid. Come on, I'm right. No, but it makes things a whole lot easier. With these words, Jackie turns into the darkness and unleashes his demons upon Vinny. They all swarm Vinny and push him out of the window. As Vinny falls to his death, so do the demons along with him, but they aren't worried one bit. And as the ground slowly inches closer and closer, all Vinny can hear is random sentences coming from the demonic entities around him. Long way down, Vinny. The ground looks hard, Vinny. And you know what, Vinny? It doesn't end there. We have seen the other side. Have fun in hell, Vinny. Jackie watches this entire thing unfold from the hospital room when suddenly the voice of Don Franchetti snaps him out of his daze. He quickly turns back into himself and then calls in the nurses to help his uncle. He then leaves Don Franchetti in the care of the nurses and walks out of the hospital. As he sees Vinny's remains smeared on the pavement, he thinks to himself, "That's you, Vinny. You and the Eastwoods." Next up is the Angelus, then Lord Sonatine, the best for last. The Darkness number 5, Apocalypse, shortly. The next night, Don Franchetti is busy smoking a cigar in his hospital bed. When the doctor orders Don Franchetti to stop, he threatens to kill his family, and that is where their conversation ends. The same night, Jackie comes to visit his uncle, and this time, Jackie is looking for answers. He wants to know the truth about his father. Don Franchetti realizes that he has no choice but to come clean, and so he tells Jackie how his father used to be a ruthless assassin. He was known by the same last name, Estacado. His father used to have a reputation of being a soulless and ruthless killer. He was a drug addict that killed for fun. Then one day, he simply died while having sex with a hooker. Rumor was that he simply dropped dead in the middle of the act. Then a few years later, a stranger with face tattoos and burning yellow eyes paid him a visit, and Jackie already knows who this stranger was. It was Lord Sonatine. Lord Sonatine appeared out of the thin air to Don Franchetti one day and asked him to adopt Jackie. Lord Sonatine put up a display of fiery entities and told Don Franchetti to take care of Jackie, to mentor him so that one day Jackie would make him the biggest mobster in the city, and that is exactly what ended up happening. Jackie carried out his first hit for Don Franchetti at the age of 16, and his ruthless ways made the Don realize that they didn't need to kill everyone, only the people that mattered the most. This entire thing is being washed by Jenny and Lord Sonatine from their base under the Statue of Liberty. Jenny is being held captive like a pet animal. She has a heavy chain and collar around her neck. As she talks to Lord Sonatine, she realizes that everything was planned from the start. According to the Brotherhood, Jackie's father had wasted the powers of the darkness on futile pursuits. Lord Sonatine could not let this happen again, which is why he told Don Franchetti to adopt Jackie. Even though Don Franchetti was ruthless and was a murderer, he would prove to be a perfect mentor for Jackie. As the two continue to spy on Don Franchetti and Jackie's conversation, they hear Jenny's name pop up. Turns out, Don Franchetti has always worried about Jackie, and right now, after having a close call with death himself, he's imploring Jackie to maybe settle down. Settle down with someone that is worth it. Maybe Jenny, but Jackie has a a totally different outlook when it comes to Jenny. He tells his uncle that he sees Jenny as a sister. She has been there alongside him from the start, and she is the only one he cares about in his life. This breaks Jenny's heart, and Lord Sonatine makes fun of her for being so naive. His gloating, however, soon comes to an abrupt end when one of his followers marches in and tells him that the Angelus's familiar has escaped. The familiar managed to seduce her guards, lured them into her cell, and then ripped their throats out. Lord Sonatine orders his men to call Jackie so that he can capture her again. But on the outside, she has already managed to get in touch with Angelus, who is rushing to her rescue. Angelus's familiar has been losing blood ever since she was shot, which is why she is barely able to make it to the pier after having fallen into the water. However, when she gets up, she sees Jackie already there waiting for her. Jackie politely asks her to come with him, but she instead decides to flee. In her haste, the familiar forgets that her wings are still heavy from the water. Thus, she ends up falling into the water and drowns herself. Angelus watches this unfold from the air and thinks Jackie's responsible for her death. She attacks Jackie from the air, but Jackie quickly transforms and grabs her throat. He makes quick work of her familiars and then approaches Angelus to have a talk, but she is too angry and too hateful towards the darkness to have any meaningful conversation. Before Jackie can grab her, she attacks him and flees the scene. Jackie notices that the sun was going down and figures that it was the reason why he could smell fear on her. Wenders arrives on the scene and learns that Angelus's favoured familiar has passed away. Jackie sees Wenders panic and asks him why do they need her in the first place, and he goes on to tell Jackie that, unlike the darkness, Angelus can use her powers anywhere. She doesn't favour day or night. This gives Jackie an idea. He's going to use Wenders to his advantage. He conjures up a small demon and then puts him in Wenders' pants. The demon will keep an eye on Wenders and ensure that he does everything Jackie wants him to do. He then tells him to go arrange a meeting with Lord Sonatine for tomorrow morning. He wants Wenders to ensure that Lord Sonatine brings Jenny along with him. Jackie then uses his powers to remotely contact Angelus, who is licking her wounds. He tells her that he is tired of the centuries-long feud that they've had, and it's about time they put an end to it. Then name the place Estacado. Let's put an end to it. The Darkness number 6, End of an Era. The next morning, Lord Sonatine, along with his men and Wenders, is busy waiting for Jackie. When Jackie arrives, he is not alone. He is flanked by Angelus. Lord Sonatine calls Jackie a fool and tells him that he has doomed them all. And Lord Sonatine is right, because no matter the agreement Jackie and Angelus had agreed upon, it soon goes out of the window as she proclaims that she is going to kill them all. But Jackie wasn't stupid. He orders Wenders to carry out the next part of their plan. Wenders tosses a bag full of smoke grenades, and this gives Jackie enough cover to use the darkness. He transforms and drags Angelus down into the Brotherhood's base with Wenders' help. Lord Sonatine can't believe his eyes, because even his henchmen have started abandoning him. Wenders uses the chaos to his advantage and escapes with Jenny. Down below in the base, Jackie thinks he has the upper hand. He unleashes all his demons upon Angelus, and for a moment it seems that she will be quickly overpowered by them. But then, as Wenders had predicted, she uses her powers to kill them all and then attack Jackie. Lord Sonatine, meanwhile, is going into the base, and when Jenny sees this, she decides to go after him. She is armed with the same chain and collar that was used to restrain her. Wenders desperately tries to stop her, but when she doesn't, he knows his fate has been sealed. Angelus continues to attack Jackie ruthlessly, and he plays into her delusion by allowing her to believe that she is going to win. But when Angelus has bought this ruse, Jackie uses his powers and rips off her wings. Angelus screams out in pain, and Lord Sonatine smiles widely, thinking that Jackie is on his side and that they are going to win. His victory, however, is quite short-lived, because Jenny ambushes him and hits him in the face with the chain. She hits him again and again in the face, and then finally kicks him in the nuts. But before Jenny can deal the final blow, Lord Sonatine uses his powers to create an explosion. This catches her off guard and gives Lord Sonatine enough time to escape. The explosion sends Jenny falling off of the cliff, which forces Jackie to abandon the fight and rescue her. Angelus tries to attack Jenny, but that is when Jackie reveals his true plan. He knew that Angelus, over the years, managed to store light in order to grant her power in dark places. But right now, after her intense fight with Jackie, she is all exhausted. Angelus tries to use her powers and defiance, only to learn that Jackie is right. The flames in her hand quickly fizzle out, and her body turns to its actual age. As her body continues to wither and decompose, she uses her final breath to curse Jackie one last time. Jackie, with hands still in his pockets, simply kicks her head and it simply goes flying away into the air like a football. But just when Jackie thinks it's all over, a huge stream of bright orange plasma erupts from Angelus's dying body and then flies away out of the base and into the night sky. Jackie and Jenny figure that, like the darkness, Angelus has now gone in search of a new host. We then catch up with Jackie and Jenny 2 weeks later and learn that Jenny has decided to shift to Portland. Jackie tries to get to the bottom of Jenny's choice, only to learn that she had overheard his conversation with Don Franchetti in the hospital. She knows that he sees her as a sister, and this is when Jackie realizes that Jenny has been in love with him all along. "Oh, Jenny, I'm so sorry. I never meant for you to think there was anything more to it. I've never been very good at this stuff. Forget it. It's not even why I'm leaving." Jenny then expresses that she is leaving because she can no longer ignore the other side of Jackie, the side that happily murders, and the side that now has to deal with the power of the darkness. She can no longer ignore it. As Jenny boards the bus, she turns to Jackie one last time. "Try to do a little good, as much as you can, okay?" As Jenny leaves in the bus, Jackie hangs his head low and finally says, "You were the only good in my life, Jenny. That's why I looked after you. I wish to God you'd stayed." Jackie then walks away into the night, alone as always. The Darkness number 7. Playing God. It has now been a few weeks since we last caught up with Jackie, who is back to his old ways, still working as the #1 hitman for Don Franchetti. The only difference now is that Jackie can use the powers to aid his job. A fluffy rabbit is in the middle of the road when it suddenly hears car tires approaching. It quickly leaps out of the way, just as a red sports car misses it by a few inches. The car is driven by Jackie, and he is currently being given a job by Don Franchetti to take out a petty criminal that was moving in on the territory while the Don was hospitalized. Jackie now hangs out with his demon buddies, and although they are a bit annoying, they are quite entertaining and help fill in the silent gaps of Jackie's life. The man Jackie is supposed to kill is inside a strip club, and Jackie is able to get to him without anyone noticing. Jackie murders the man in cold blood in front of the girl he was hanging out with, and although this night was full of action, Jackie's morning is quite different. He is attending a support group for people suffering from sex addiction, but even the group isn't able to help Jackie because he can't keep his eyes off of the 2 ladies that have recently joined it. A frustrated Jackie spends his nights alone with nobody to talk to except for his new demonic friends. Even though they are helpful, quite capable and entertaining, they always remind Jackie how he is still in his infancy when it comes to learning about the darkness's powers. These demons are the basic constructs that he can create using his powers. In fact, they are the same demons that have served his ancestors for a long time. That is until they learnt how to create more complex constructs, including anatomically correct humans. Jackie is desperate for the human touch, which is why the demons easily manage to talk him into creating his own woman. After all, they have seen Jackie's ancestors do this thing numerous times. Picture the babe just as you want. Don't leave anything out. And so, with these wise words, Jackie begins to concentrate, and soon a woman starts to form in front of him. The only problem is that she is an abomination, a cross between a human and a demon in all the wrong ways. Jackie is appalled at the sight of this, but the demons seem to enjoy it. However, they encourage Jackie to try again, and although this time he is able to create a decent human woman, unfortunately, she has 2 heads, and the second one is old, decomposing, and quite demonic. Jesus, what am I doing wrong? Quit screwing around! What am I missing? Something special, the ferocity of a woman. Where do you think this desire comes from? Think about what's inside. But this third creation is the most horrifying. It is a demon on the outside with the screaming face of a woman trapped on the inside. Jackie gives up and decides to call it a night. And we then see that the demons don't mind indulging in their desires with these abominations. However, moments later, Jackie gets frustrated by being locked inside his room. And so he decides to head to the bar, his favourite one, where Jenny worked, Kaiser's. But as he gets out of his car and gets ready to go inside of the bar, he remembers about Jenny, and his entire mood goes down the drain. The fact that he meets one of his exes outside the bar and she doesn't have anything nice to say about him doesn't help improve his mood either. Jackie decides to walk it off, only to be ambushed by a group of Yakuza members in the subway. Today isn't a great day for Jackie, and sadly for the Yakuza members, they are going to bear the brunt of it. Jackie only loved two things in life: killing and sex, and one of them is now off the table. This means that all of his talents now are going to be solely focused on killing. Jackie begins to take out his frustrations on the Yakuza members, and as he kills them off one by one, he slowly begins to realize that he enjoys killing, enough that it takes off the stress of not being able to have sex. Soon, Jackie has killed off every Yakuza member sent to ambush him, but he doesn't have enough time to admire his handiwork because the police have arrived on the scene. They chase after Jackie, but he manages to escape in a train. As Jackie makes his escape, he doesn't feel good about his life. This is so pathetic. Killing scum. Scum like me. It's now my life. It's all I have. That is freaking pathetic. And even though Jackie may not like it, this marks the beginning of a new chapter in his life. The Darkness Number 8, Family Ties. Part 1, The Truce. The feud between the Yakuza and the Mafia has been going on for a while now, and both sides have been losing money and men during this war, and thus it has now been decided that the truce will be called between the organizations. For the first time in 30 years, the two organizations have now gathered for a meeting where Don Franchetti is giving a rousing speech. The two organizations plan to focus on the new generation that is addicted to their drugs, and Don Franchetti makes everyone realize that there is enough new territory for both the organizations to thrive. And while on the surface, it seems that both the organizations have agreed to this truce, things in the background are quite different. Sadayoki Hosobuchi, the head of the American Yakuza, watches Don Franchetti's speech on the TV while scoffing at him. Hosobuchi's talks cryptically imply that the head of the Yakuza, Matsu-san, has something big planned for the Italians. But he isn't the only one with such big plans. Jackie has a few plans of his own, and he is currently busy executing them. As Don Franchetti's speech comes to an end, Jackie's attack on Hosobuchi's building begins. He starts by taking out the two security guards on the ground floor, while the floor above is invaded by his demons. They are a rowdy yet funny bunch with tons of jokes under their belt. Hey, nice digs. Chicks must go ape for this place. See, the boss's joint isn't all that. Maybe we should just stay here. This floor is guarded by Hosobuchi's personal security guards. They have orders to not let anybody in, and so the bodyguards begin firing on the demons. The guards end up killing the demon's latest recruit, Blag. Oh, Blag. He was so young and ugly. He's still ugly. I want his bandana. Gross. Why do you want his banana? Bandana, I mean bandana. The Japanese bodyguards are baffled by this exchange, and before they have time to recover, they are attacked by Jackie. Jackie plunges darkness blades that he has conjured from his back directly through their chest. By now, Hosobuchi has caught on to the commotion outside. While being guarded by his best bodyguards, he screams, "What is happening?" I said, "What is happening? Somebody tell me what's going on." And an armored Jackie, fully transformed, leaps into the room and says, "Something that should have happened a long time ago." Jackie makes quick work of Hosobuchi's bodyguards, with only his Samoan bodyguard posing a minor inconvenience. Jackie uses his armor to reflect the bullets back at the bodyguard, which kills him instantly. The large 7-foot 600-pound man falls on top of Hosobuchi, pinning him in place with no way to escape Jackie. Jackie is here for revenge because, as it turns out, all the Yakuza people that have been hunting Jackie for the past few weeks have been sent by Hosobuchi, all because Jackie killed Takahashi. "No more! No more fight! We have truce!" Hosobuchi desperately tries to tell Jackie in broken English, but Jackie simply shoots him in the head at point-blank range. Now that the job is done, one of the demons named Stav wants to watch TV, but when he turns it on, Jackie gets way more than he had bargained for. Jackie realizes that Hosobuchi was right. The Yakuza and the Mafia have a truce, but for how long? Especially after what Jackie just did. The next day, Don Franchetti is livid once he realizes what Jackie has done. Jackie has been personally invited to Italy so that Don Franchetti can personally scream at him face to face. Their only hope right now is that the Yakuza don't realize who carried out the job. Maybe Don Franchetti has jinxed himself in this moment moment because while he screams at Jackie, his New York home is being attacked by a mysterious stranger. His two kids are busy playing outside when one of the two bodyguards posted on the house is mysteriously taken out by a throwing knife. The next second, a masked stranger wielding a katana rushes for the second bodyguard and completely slices him in half. The two kids are fighting over a ball when they are approached by the masked stranger. "It's a Super Ranger! Hi, Mr. Super Ranger! Do you want to play with me?" Their mum is desperately screaming for her children to get away from the stranger, but it's already too late. The masked stranger bends down and talks to the kids and shows them his knife. Meanwhile, the mum is running towards them, unaware of what the stranger is doing. When she finally reaches her daughter, she breathes a sigh of relief because, thankfully, nothing has happened to her. But then, ominously, her daughter looks up at her and says, "He is gone, Mummy, but he said this is for Uncle Frankie to use on Uncle Jackie's head," and she then hands her mother a large knife the mysterious stranger was carrying. Meanwhile, the crime scene Jackie left at Hosobuchi's building is being investigated by the homicide department, and this is the return of Jake McCarthy, Sarah Piscini's partner, who is the current Witchblade. Jake wants to investigate these murders, but his new partner, DeFilippo, tells him that the department has chosen to turn a blind eye towards such crimes. Both the gangs are their enemies, so the department doesn't care when they kill each other because this means less work for them. And although Jake doesn't like this, he doesn't say anything for now. Side note, the Witchblade is the offspring of the Darkness and the Angelus. The Darkness number 9, Family Ties. Part 2, Lord Sonatine's Revenge. Jackie isn't having a good day. The feud with the Yakuza continues, and the Japanese have managed to learn a lot about his powers. They have sent their best assassin to ambush him this time, Tora no Shi. Tora learned everything about Jackie before attacking him. He learned about Jackie's powers, how he is powerless during the day, and most of all, how none of his demons can exist in daylight. Jackie tries to crawl towards his gun, which is near a flaming bike, as Tora taunts him. "If you think you're quick enough, then try it." Jackie hates it when people end up getting the best of him, especially when they are arrogant as Tora. Jackie leaps for the gun, but he's quickly stabbed in the hand by Tora. Jackie quickly sweeps Tora's legs and then pulls out the knife from his hand. Tora then tries to stab Jackie with his sword, but Jackie deflects and punches him in the chin. Their fight, however, soon comes to an end when Jackie's gang shows up. On the other side of town, Sarah is driving away from a burning tanker. She is worried about how things are going to play out now that Jackie's the Darkness, when suddenly she is stopped dead in her tracks by another familiar face, Bruce Wilder. At first, Sarah thought that Bruce was just a civilian driving towards the burning tanker, but then, when he revealed that he not only knows about Jackie, but also her, she knew he had some sort of role to play in this. Meanwhile, in the White Bull Tavern, Jake McCarthy is dealing with his own demons. A group of renegade cops, which includes Siri, Timko, Reynolds, and Jake, are planning an attack on the Yakuza and the mob in their own way. There is a big public meeting being planned by the Yakuza and the mob, and this group of renegade cops wants to take advantage of this event by killing one of the big players in the game. They call themselves the White Bulls. Their chief is running this operation of the books, which is why Jake is a bit reluctant to participate in it. Joe Siri will be running the ordnance, while Timko will be the forward observer. Reynolds and Jake will be in charge of ensuring that none of the civilians get hurt during the operation. While this is going on, Jackie is being reprimanded for his actions in Forest Hills, Queens. Don Franchetti wants to end the feud between the Yakuza and the mob, and for this, he needs Jackie to calm down. Jackie messed up their first attempt at a peaceful treaty, which is why this time he wants things to go smoothly. Jackie has a long and intense conversation with Uncle Frankie, but the gist of it is that Jackie will have to kidnap the Yakuza boss's daughter while the treaty is being signed. The call for peace between the two gangs is the big event that the cops were talking about, and kidnapping the Yakuza boss's daughter is the only way Don Franchetti can end the vendetta that the Yakuza has against Jackie. Meanwhile, Sarah is getting her own dose of information from Bruce Wilder. Bruce acts quite coy and mysterious, but Sarah is easily able to see through his lies. He has brought her to Kenneth Irons' apartment, her longtime nemesis, and her once flame, Ian Nottingham's torturous father. Bruce not only knows, but Sarah is the Witchblade, but he also tells her to think about why Ian helped her in the first place. Isn't it a bit fishy that Sarah was saved by Ian from a botched mission that was initially assigned to her by Special Agent Gahan? Get to the point, Bruce, or you're going to meet the Witchblade real soon. And so he gets to the point. Bruce tells her that Joe is going to get himself killed. He wants Sarah to join him in helping save Joe and the rest of the officers. officers. Bruce has his own part to play the gang war, but Joe has always been like a father to her. "No, Bruce, I'm done playing your game. I'm a detective. I'll figure out the rest of it on my own. Good luck, Sarah, but don't cut off that pretty nose to spite your own face." We then catch up with Ian Nottingham, who is being approached by none other than Lord Sonatine. Lord Sonatine offers Ian the power of darkness, but Ian declines. However, Lord Sonatine had expected this, which is why he has another ace up his sleeve. He tells Ian that Setsuki's life is in danger. Setsuki is the Japanese girl that nursed Ian back to health after he was gravely injured. Ian still refuses to accept his offer, and so Lord Sonatine uses his magical powers to brainwash Ian. He brainwashes Ian into thinking that Jackie is a terrible man that shouldn't be weighing the power of the darkness. He then shows him Jackie using his magical powers, who is in his dilapidated apartment waiting for the sunset. He manipulates Ian into believing that Jackie shouldn't be wielding the power of the darkness. "You must sneak upon him and absorb this hideous power without any fear, and there is no need to fear. I know exactly what must be done. I shall prepare you for the transference, and I shall be by your side for the confrontation. In a few hours, Jackie Estacado will be dead, and the darkness will finally be mine." Because Lord Sonatine is using his magical powers to brainwash Ian, he fails to notice that Sonatine wants the power for himself. The Darkness number 10, Family Ties. Part 3, The Unexpected. We start with the American Museum of Natural History. Setsuke is visiting the museum along with two kids. They are being stalked by the group of renegade cops, led by Joe. Bruce Wilder is also present at the museum, and he has managed to lure Takata here under the pretext of a meeting. Takata is a high-ranking Yakuza official and the boss of Tora no Shi. Joe is surprised to see so many important people at the museum on the same day the Yakuza and the mob plan to sign a peace treaty. However, none of these people realize that they are a part of someone else's game. Even Tora no Shi, who attacks Setsuke when she reaches the T-Rex exhibit. Takata is surprised to see that one of his top henchmen is attacking Setsuke, and although he and his gang try to save her, all of them soon stop dead in their tracks. Once Jackie shows up, people visiting the museum desperately try to escape the mayhem as Jackie unleashes his demons upon Tora. Although Tora has an exceptional poker face, he never expected Jackie to show up at the museum. He knew that when he betrayed his boss, there would be some kind of resistance, but he did not expect it to be Jackie. He hides his fear well as the two begin their fight, while Setsuki is escorted away from the scene by the White Bulls. As Jackie and Tora fight Takata and his men begin firing at the White Bulls, a huge firefight erupts and the White Bulls are taking heavy damage. They try to call for backup, and soon Sarah shows up on the scene. "Who the hell are you guys? Police! Everybody freeze!" But as Sarah says this, she hears the Witchblade say to her, "Darkness. Kill the darkness. Destroy the darkness now." Sarah begins changing against her will, and Jackie can't help but hate her for always ruining his plans. This sudden intervention is costing Jackie a lot of demons. Jackie is tired of Sarah messing up his plans again and again. He conjures up a huge hook and hurls it at her. While the hook holds Sarah in place, he conjures up knives and launches them. Sarah tries to tell Jackie that her powers are not in her control. She's trying her best to keep the Witchblade from attacking him, but Jackie doesn't understand this concept, and so Sarah has more choice but to fight him. She lets the powers of the Witchblade take over her and shoots a huge stream of fire at Jackie. Jackie avoids the assault, conjures up a huge bomb, and then hurls it at her. The explosion not only sends Sarah flying away, but also destroys the T-Rex skeleton in the process. Each fight with Sarah somehow has enabled Jackie to learn more about his powers, and so he uses everything that he has learnt and conjures up a huge demon that attacks Sarah. But the powers of the Witchblade aren't to be taken lightly. She instantly destroys the demon, only for Jackie to then attack her with a huge machine gun that he has managed to create using the darkness. They continue on attacking each other until both of them have run out of steam, and this is when the entire trap comes to fruition. Joe desperately tries to stop Sarah while Tora looks on. Sarah has Jackie pinned down, and she tries to tell him that they are playing someone else's game, but by now it's already too late. Lord Sonatine arrives on the scene along with Ian Nottingham. "Tisk, tisk, tisk. Jackie, it appears all the fight's been taken out of you, and to think I brought Mr. Nottingham all the way here in the hopes of a good fight." Setsuke is worried about the mayhem going on around them, and she is unable to understand what is happening. "Do not worry, Setsuke. Nottingham-san is here." Takata tries to tell Nottingham everything, how they were attacked attacked by Jackie and the White Bulls, but he doesn't realise that Nottingham is under the control of Lord Sonatine. Lord Sonatine uses his powers to make Nottingham believe that Toccata has raped his daughter, and so, without a word, Nottingham stabs him directly in the heart. Lord Sonatine then begins the process of transference, and Jackie is slowly stripped off of his powers. But during this process, Nottingham ends up absorbing Sarah's powers as well. He now possesses the powers of the Witchblade and the Darkness. Lord Sonatine laughs maniacally, while Jackie and Sarah watch on helplessly. The in-between. What happens after this takes place in the Witchblade comics. The summary of it is that Lord Sonatine's plan goes awry, when Nottingham ends up absorbing Witchblade and the Darkness's powers. When a host has both the Witchblade and the Darkness's powers, it results in Armageddon. And this entire thing was planned by Bruce Wilder. In an attempt to save the world from annihilation, Lord Sonatine uses his magic to hold the two powers apart, as Jackie again absorbs the Darkness and regains control. Bruce is killed by Joe, and Nottingham becomes the new host of the Witchblade. The Darkness number 11, Hearts of the Darkness, Part 1. Lord Sonatine laughs maniacally while giving a sermon to his followers. Among his followers is Jackie, who watches on as Lord Sonatine taunts him that he will never be able to use his powers to their fullest extent. That is, unless he decides to join the Brotherhood. Lord Sonatine then raises his hands, and it is revealed that all of the followers are Jackie himself. They all chant in unison. Listen to the man with the plan. Join him or die. Join him or die. Join him or die. Suddenly, Jackie wakes up and realizes that it was all just a dream. Jackie has woken up to someone incessantly ringing his doorbell. When he goes to answer the door, he finds none other than Wenders. Wenders wants to serve Jackie just like the Brotherhood, but Jackie wants nothing to do with him. Wenders can't understand why Jackie won't accept his help, and Jackie simply tells him that it's not his style. He then tries to appease Jackie by telling him that he can help him have sex, something he can't do for the fear of passing on the darkness, which in turn will kill Jackie. Jackie is intrigued at first, but when he realizes that Wenders is offering himself up as a sex slave, he throws him out of the window and into the trash can. Unbeknownst to both of them, somebody had been keeping an eye on Jackie's place. Think we got one boss. Boss, you know you can tell a lot about a guy by the things he throws in his trash. The next day, we see that Don Franchetti is hosting a huge party because his daughter is all grown up and has completed her studies. She's going to come back today and join the family. Jackie and Don Franchetti's daughter, Apollonia, seem to have some sort of history, because when Apollonia walks into the room, Jackie can't help but act like he's disgusted by her. Apollonia is a beautiful young woman, and she has a pet cat named Sebastian. Don Franchetti welcomes her with open arms. He is truly happy about her coming home because he has even let her mother be in the same room as him. After greeting her mother and father, Apollonia turns towards Jackie, and that is when we get a glimpse into their childhood memories. The two were never really friends and always fought with each other, and it seems the present is going to be no different. The two pretend to hug warmly in front of everyone while calling each other bitch and bastard under their breaths. Don Franchetti loathes Apollonia's mother, and he orders one of his henchmen to take her out of the room as soon as Apollonia is done meeting her. Apollonia then reveals her true reason for returning to the family. She wants to be a part of Don's business. She wants to be his right hand, and although she tries to appeal to her father again and again, he simply refuses to honor her wishes. Don Franchetti never wanted this as a future for his daughter, but unbeknownst to him, she has always been a criminal. She has always had a ruthless and cunning personality, and so when Jackie is spending the evening in his home alone, she decides to pay him a visit. Jackie is busy staring at a photo of Jenny when Apollonia enters the room. She tells him that she has always hated him since they were kids. Her father always used to favor him instead of her, which always made her jealous and wonder what was so great about Jackie. She kills her pet cat Sebastian ruthlessly in front of Jackie to prove that she would go to any length to find out his secret. Jackie simply smiles and lets her walk out of the room after her maniacal speech because he can't wait for her to find out his secret. "I'm going to enjoy the look on your face when you find out just what my secret is." We then catch up with Wenders, who has now been kidnapped by Apollonia's men. Turns out, it was Apollonia's men that were keeping an eye on Jackie's apartment. She blackmails Wenders into telling Jackie's secret in exchange for his freedom, but Wenders simply refuses. He isn't going to betray the darkness. But Apollonia had expected this, which is why she hired the best torturer on this side of the Atlantic, Mr. Vespasian. Mr. Vespasian is a pure psychopath because when he tells Wenders that he's going to torture him, he first takes his tool and cuts his own forearm. Now imagine what I am going to do to you. This display of ruthlessness is more than enough for Wenders, and he begins to sing like a canary. No, wait! Holy Jesus! Estacado has inherited the powers of the darkness. Our Brotherhood sought to control him. Lord Sonatine wants his powers to change the world. Sounds like crap to me. I agree. Wenders then fumbles and desperately begs them to let him prove it. He then pulls out a piece of Lord Sonatine's looking circle, the same circle he used in the past to spy on Jackie. Wenders managed to steal a piece of it for himself during the showdown between the darkness and the Angelus. He uses it to show them a glimpse of the past and how the darkness defeated Angelus. Apollonia laughs in Wenders' face. She belittles him and then says, "Okay, maggot, I've seen enough. I believe it. Where's this Angelus now? Out there somewhere, looking for a new host, a new body." Apollonia takes the piece of the looking circle from Wenders and leaves him at the mercy of Mr. Vespasian. As she leaves, she can't help but revel in her own victory. "Well, Jackie, it seems I know your dark little secret now, and I know what I must do to beat you. You, Jackie, my father, every pig of a man who ever hurt me. Hear this, you bastards. The Angelus is coming back." The Darkness number 12, Family Dinner. The issue opens up with Wenders telling the story of one of Jackie's ancestors to Apollonia. He is telling the story of Jackie Estacado, who was chased and cornered by the Angelus in the Tunguska Valley in Russia. Jackie was clearly injured, and during their confrontation, Angelus managed to stab him directly in the gut using a huge spear. The impact of this sent Jackie off of a cliff, and incidentally, this gave him enough time to carry out his real plan. Jackie, with the help of his underlings, used the power of darkness to create his own clone. The clone then stabbed himself in the gut with the same spot, while his underlings helped the real Jackie escape. This trick usually wouldn't fool the Angelus, but she was as battle-weary as Jackie himself, and so she ended up believing it. And this was the story of how Jackie managed to outfit Angelus in 1908. But like everyone in the Estacado bloodline, Jackie died in his bed while having sex with a Russian prostitute. It's the way they all go in the end, in the beds of the women they rut with, the powers of the darkness and its ultimate cost. Please, I am so tired, I must rest now. Rest my ass! Don't stop now, you bastard, tell me everything, I want it all. And even though Apollonia wants Wenders to continue, Mr. Vespasian stops her. He tells her that they should let Wenders rest, so that he can be ready for the next torture session, and once that is done, he will sing like a canary and tell Apollonia everything she wants to know. We then catch up with Don Franchetti, who is busy torturing two young men that had the audacity to conduct business in his territory. This is the highest form of disrespect when it comes to the mob, and Don Franchetti will not stand for this. One of the youngsters tries to stab Don Franchetti, but Jackie manages to save his life by shooting the youngster in the head. Don Franchetti lets the other youngster go because he wants the people on the streets to know what happened tonight and why they shouldn't mess with Don Franchetti. Butcher Joyce then arrives on the scene to clean up the mess, and Jackie and him end up talking about the Don's wife, Apollonia's mother. Jackie wants to know what made her senile. Butcher Joyce sighs and tells Jackie that she wasn't the same once the Don had tortured and killed her lover in front of her. One night, Don Franchetti came back from work early to surprise his wife, only to find her in bed with someone else. It was that day that the entire mafia realized the extent of Don Franchetti's rage. Don Franchetti tied his wife to a chair and then made her watch as he beat her lover again and again for hours without stopping until nothing but pulp remained. That was my first job for the Don. Come to think of it, truth be told, there wasn't much left to get rid of. Back at Apollonia's hideout, Mr. Vespasian has finished torturing Wenders, but much to her dismay, Wenders doesn't know how she can become the Angelus. However, that is when Lord Sonatine turns up and tells her that he knows of a way that will allow her to take up the mantle of the Angelus. We then switch to Don Franchetti's mansion, where he and Jackie are busy drinking together in front of a fireplace. The two talk about family, and Don Franchetti says that he sees Jackie as his own son. They clink their glasses and walk down to the dining hall for dinner. Apollonia's mother, who is in a catatonic state, joins the two of them alongside Apollonia for dinner. They drink, laugh, and when her father is inebriated under the guise of a folk tale, Apollonia Apollonia tells her father and Jackie the tale of Belasco Estacado. Jackie tries to cut her short, but he is interrupted by Don Franchetti. "Jackie, I want to hear how the story ends." And that is when Lord Sonatine comes out of nowhere, stabs Don Franchetti in the hand, and then holds him hostage as he says, "In tears, of course. The story ends in tears." The Darkness number 13, the planned yet unexpected return. We dive right back into the action with this issue. Lord Sonatine twists the knife and tortures Don Franchetti, while Jackie and Apollonia watch on helplessly. Lord Sonatine tells them that he used his powers to make every one of Don Franchetti's guards believe that they raped and killed their mothers, which made them kill themselves in turn. Apollonia begs and screams for Lord Sonatine to stop torturing her father, and he, in return, knocks him out. Jackie turns into the darkness, thinking that Lord Sonatine had just given up his ace, but it is then revealed that he is in cahoots with Apollonia. Apollonia knocks Jackie out by hitting him on the head. As she talks to Lord Sonatine, it is revealed that Apollonia wants revenge on her father for turning her mother into a vegetable. She is going to tear down his empire and is going to build a new one in its place. The next morning, as the sun rises in the sky, Jackie is woken up by Lord Sonatine. Jackie is tied to a wooden board directly in front of a window to ensure that he does not get an inch of darkness. Lord Sonatine then brings in Mr. Vespasian, and he can't wait to begin torturing Jackie. Lord Sonatine then reveals to Jackie that Apollonia is the one who came with this plan. If Lord Sonatine can't have the darkness, then he's going to have to settle for the light. We then switch back to the mansion where Apollonia is busy talking to her mother. It is then revealed that her mother's name is Lauren, and Apollonia was there that day when Don Franchetti tortured and killed Lauren's lover in front of her. She promises her mother that she is going to make Don Franchetti pay for what he did to her. She then turns to Lord Sonatine and asks him what he did with Jackie, and he tells her that he left Jackie with Mr. Vespasian. We then cut back to Lord Sonatine's base, where Mr. Vespasian is happily torturing Jackie. "I take no pleasure in this, although I will confess to an erection," says Mr. Vespasian, as he gets ready for round 2. But that is when Wenders comes to Jackie's help and closes the window behind them. Jackie unleashes the powers of the darkness and shows Mr. Vespasian what true torture actually means. Jackie's underlings and demons slowly rip the flesh from Mr. Vespasian's body until there is barely any left. This form of slow torture ensures that Mr. Vespasian doesn't pass out, can't seem to lapse into merciful unconsciousness. "You really are an absolute unrepentant bastard. I salute to Estacado." These are Mr. Vespasian's last words to Jackie before he is decapitated by his underlings. Let us take a moment to appreciate the artist in these few panels of torture. Jackie's underlings and demons are usually quite horrific, but the ones he manages to conjure up in these few panels are truly something else. They represent Jackie's intent and true hatred. These are vile creatures that have been created for nothing but torture. Equipped with fangs and blades in all the right places, they are built for inflicting pain. You might notice that some of them look like the xenomorph from the Alien. This is likely the artist Joe Benitez paying his tribute to the creators of the xenomorph. Let's get back to the story now. Once he has killed Mr. Vespasian, Jackie turns to Wenders and says, "I never thought I'd hear myself say this, but for once, I'm actually glad to see you, Wenders. Thank you, Mr. Estacado. I knew it was only a matter of time before you felt that way." Jackie then learns that Lord Sonatine is trying to resurrect the Angelus and use Apollonia as a vessel for her. Jackie knows that this is bad because Apollonia is even more ruthless than the last Angelus. However, it is going to be quite hard for him to stop Lord Sonatine because right now it's daytime. Sadly, by the time Wenders and Jackie reach the mansion, the ritual is already at its peak. Apollonia is engulfed in flames, and Lord Sonatine is already reading the final verses of the ritual. "Yes, sister to the sun, mother of the dawn, I compel you, I command you, take this woman for your own, and in turn, by the power granted me as your summoner, I compel you to be mine." Jackie desperately wants to stop the ritual, and so armed with nothing but a metal rod, he aims for Lord Sonatine's head. Lord Sonatine turns towards Jackie and tells him that it's already too late. But in this moment of distraction, Lord Sonatine loses his control over the Angelus, which allows the power to take Lauren as its host instead. While Lord Sonatine and Apollonia fight about what just happened, Lauren instantly transforms into the Angelus and says, "Hello again, Apollonia. I'm going to show you how much I love you." The Darkness number 14. One way or another, fate always gets its victim. Well, child, haven't he bought a hug for your mama? And Apollonia can't believe her eyes. Her mother is not only back to herself again, but she is the most powerful and beautiful entity on this earth. Apollonia goes in for a hug, while Lord Sonatine hatches up a plan and warns Jackie that if Apollonia hugs her mother, she will end up dead because the Angelus does not know the extent of her powers yet. Due to his dedication to Don Franchetti and his promise, Jackie can't let this happen. He reluctantly steps between the mother and daughter, and this makes Angelus remember who he actually is. She remembers that he is the new vessel of the darkness on the earth, which makes her instantly attack him. "I'll have your head!" Angelus screams and shoots a stream of fire at Jackie, which sends him flying away. Jackie is forced to use Apollonia as a shield, while Apollonia herself comes to terms with what her mother has become. Tears stream down her face as she realizes that the Angelus is no longer her mother. But somewhere deep down, Lauren is still in control, because when she sees Jackie take Apollonia hostage, she says, "I would have made it quick, Estacado, but now that you have taken her hostage, your death will be a legend in the blackest pits of hell." Lord Sonatine tries to cut a deal with Jackie by telling him that he can show him the way out of here, but by now, Jackie is well versed with his ways. He denies Sonatine's offer and kicks him to the ground in front of the Angelus. Apollonia is too shaken up to take any kind of action. Angelus by now is getting familiar with her powers, and she is able to summon her familiars who quickly rescue Apollonia from Jackie's grasp. She then hugs Apollonia, but this affects her just like Lord Sonatine had predicted. Apollonia's tears are replaced by blood, and soon she is plunged into a catatonic state. Lauren doesn't understand what has happened, and Lord Sonatine uses this to his advantage. He makes her believe that Jackie Estacado infected her child with the power of the darkness, which made the Angelus's powers hurt her. Enraged, Angelus vows revenge. Meanwhile, Jackie and Wenders have driven back to Don Franchetti's mansion. Don Franchetti has an army of his men gathered at the mansion. He is desperately looking for his wife and daughter. Jackie tells him that he will fix and explain everything, but not right now. Right now, Don Franchetti needs to leave the mansion along with his men. This is the first time Jackie addresses the Don by his first name. "Listen to me, Frankie. Take all your men out of here. Do not come near this place until dawn. Things are going to happen here. Things I don't want you to see. Things only my father understood, and I promise you, I will return your daughter to you." Don Franchetti is shaken to his core by this statement. He knew Jackie's father by reputation, and so he decides to believe Jackie. He leaves the mansion along with his men. As Jackie had predicted, the Angelus comes to attack him, but not during the day. She comes to attack him at night because she wants to kill him at the height of his powers. It is a brutal fight between the two, but the Angelus turns out to be too powerful for Jackie. By the end of it, she manages to stab her great sword directly through his heart. Tonight, it ends. "For every mother who ever shed a tear, I damn you." She then pulls out the sword from his chest and decapitates Jackie in an instant. She then grabs what remains of him and flies at full force into the wall. "For every daughter you brought to her knees, I damn you. But most of all, in my name, I damn you." Angelus then flies off with what remains of Jackie's head while proclaiming her victory. However, once she is gone, Jackie and Wenders come out of hiding. Turns out, Jackie managed to trick her, just like his ancestor Belasco. Wenders turns to Jackie and says, "She will learn of her mistake in time. You could never have tricked her were she not so young in her present incarnation. She will return another day." The next day, Jackie returns Apollonia to Don Franchetti. He apologizes for not getting to her sooner. He might have saved her from her current mental state if he had gotten there earlier. We then see Apollonia being brought out on a wheelchair. She is in a similar mental state as her mother before she became the Angelus. "I have lived with worse," says Don Franchetti when he sees his daughter, "but someone has to pay for this." And Jackie agrees. Someone indeed will pay for this. Jackie wouldn't have it any other way. The Darkness number 15, another enemy added to the list. Our story begins in Berlin, and the year is 1945. The city has been besieged by the Russian army. What once used to be a bustling city has now become a monument to rubble and debris. The only remaining bunker in the city that is currently armed by the German army is being invaded by Victoria, who is the current Magdalena. The story is being told by Cardinal Innocent in the present day, and he, in his own words, describes Magdalena as the breath of God. Only the unjust and unholy need fear her. She lays waste to a dozen soldiers before confronting the man himself, Adolf Hitler. Hitler is wielding the sphere of destiny when he is attacked by Magdalena. He shoots at her while screaming, "A witch! A whore from hell! You shall not lay hands upon this relic!" But Magdalena isn't just a great fighter. She also wields supernatural powers. When she opens her hands and uses her power, anyone who stares at it is reminded of all the sins they committed in this life. And Hitler has committed a lot of sins. So when she opens her hand and he stares into it, Hitler sees every crime and sin that he has committed while on Earth. This is more than enough to incapacitate him, and Magdalena is able to retrieve the Spear of Destiny without any more opposition. Cardinal Innocent finishes this story in the present day. He has been recounting this to Sister Mariella because in the present day, Victoria is dead, and Sister Mariella has been chosen as her replacement. She is going to be the new Magdalena. Mariella is initiated by the church, handed that Spear of Destiny, and then tasked to kill none other than Jackie Estacado, the current host of the Darkness. Back in New York City in Times Square, Jackie is on top of a skyscraper looking at the nightlife below. The stark contrast between the escorts and the fanatics lining the streets has been eating at Jackie's mind. He has been too silent this evening, too brooding because even his underlings have started to notice. Their entertaining banter around Jackie's mood and how he has become a gloomy host for the Darkness snaps him out of his daze. Jackie can now feel the darkness inside people on Earth, and so to entertain his underlings in return, Jackie jumps down from the skyscraper near a homeless bum that deserves to be tortured. Well, verbally at least. Every time this homeless man tries to drink his sorrows away, he is reminded of the day his father threw him out. He was thrown out by his father for killing the family dog. Although it was an accident, it was the last accident the family could bear. And so the underlings use this against him, and one by one they scream the following at him. "Why would he ever forgive you? You killed the only thing he loved, squashed it flatter than Georgia asphalt. You're gonna see that doggy's flattened head every time you get to the bottom of the bottle. It's what your old man would have wanted anyways." And this confrontation is more than enough to snap the homeless man out of his drunken stupor. He begins screaming at the top of his lungs about demons and how he is going to change his way from today. Jackie then goes to see Uncle Frankie at the hospital. He is paying his daughter Apollonia a visit, whose condition hasn't improved. Don Franchetti has brought Apollonia roses, but despite his best efforts, she simply refuses to speak. It seems that Apollonia doesn't remember anything, and what she does remember, it's something she doesn't like. Because when Don Franchetti tries to make her remember the supposed good times they had, she simply crushes the roses he brought her between her palms. "Don't, baby, you're cutting yourself on the thorns." But due to her mental state, Apollonia doesn't stop. Jackie and the Don manage to stop her, bandage her hand, and then leave her for the night. As they leave, Don Franchetti expresses his frustration about Apollonia's current situation. The doctors can't explain what's wrong with her, and Jackie won't tell him the entire truth. Jackie promises his Uncle Frankie that the information he currently has won't help him either way. "You got to trust me, Uncle. I'm going to put this right, I swear." "Okay, Jackie. For now, I will trust you. But the time for answers is coming, and those answers are going to be written in blood." Jackie is lost in his thoughts as he reaches his apartment, only to be knocked out of them by a kick in his face. It's Sister Mariella, the new Magdalena, and she is here to kill Jackie. She raises the spear and gets ready to stab Jackie in the chest as she says, "With this instrument of God's will I dispatch thee. The power of Christ compels you." The Darkness number 16, Playthings of God, Men and Faith. This issue introduces us to Father Jasper, who right now is begging audience with Cardinal Innocent because he was summoned by him. Cardinal Innocent greets Jasper and tells them about the roses he planted in the church years ago. He tells him how the roses he planted all come from one single plant, and even though they are beautiful, we should be keeping our distance from them because they have thorns. Father Jasper doesn't understand what Cardinal Innocent is trying to say, and so he asks his superior to speak plainly. Cardinal Innocent reveals to Father Jasper that he has set events in motion that will alter the future of the church. This is why he needs someone else beside himself to take credit for these events. What Father Jasper fails to understand is that Cardinal Innocent was referring to the roses because they metaphorically resemble the altered future of the church, and the thorns on the roses resemble the events that he has set in motion. He wants to keep his distance from these thorns, which essentially essentially means that Father Jasper is being used like a scapegoat. Unaware of this metaphor, Father Jasper breaks into tears because he is honoured that Cardinal Innocent would choose him for such a task. Meanwhile, back at Jackie's apartment, he is being attacked by Magdalena, and she is about to stab him with the Spear of Destiny. Jackie manages to catch the tip of the spear between his hands, much to Magdalena's surprise. She keeps on chanting the phrase, "The power of Christ compels you," again and again, to mask her disbelief and impossibility of the fact that Jackie managed to catch the spear in the first place. She was told that as soon as Jackie touched the spear, he would be sent back to hell. But that hasn't happened, and she is unable to understand or comprehend this. Jackie is tired of Magdalena's delusions, and so, in an attempt to end this confrontation, he breaks the spear. He then kicks Magdalena in the chest and sends her flying into the wall. Much to his dismay, she ends up landing on his home theatre system, and this is blasphemous to Jackie. And just like Jackie, what just happened is blasphemous to Magdalena. Jackie shouldn't have been able to break the Spear of Destiny. She holds the broken spear in her hands and sheds a few tears as she remembers how this spear has been fought over by men for 2,000 years. This spear that took Christ's life was just broken by Jackie, and the impossibility of this event is making her question her faith. Jackie jokes that this was bound to happen because a 2,000-year-old spear isn't exactly the pinnacle of craftsmanship. Magdalena can't believe her ears. Jackie's reckless abandon for his faith makes her call him a vile creature of darkness. "Lady, you don't know the half of it. I'm the son of a whore. That's what I am. I didn't ask for it, but there it is. I didn't ask to be dragged into this world, nor did I ask for the darkness. But here I am." Jackie holds Magdalena against the world, while she looks at him with surprise. The tears streaming down her face have suddenly stopped as she realises that Jackie might just be human after all. But when Jackie says, "And I sure as hell didn't ask for every wacko with delusions of godhood to come kicking in my door, calling me the spawn of Beelzebub. Who's next, eh? When's Buzz Lightyear gonna show up to blame me for shooting Bambi's mother?" Magdalena doesn't understand this reference, and she calls Jackie insane and evil. In an attempt to complete her mission and preserve her faith, she attacks Jackie with a marble statue, and in a last-ditch attempt to end Jackie's life and complete her mission, she jumps into him, plunging them both out of the apartment window. Meanwhile, in a public bus below, a street preacher is trying to convince a prostitute to give up her ways and come into the light. He wants her to give up the darkness. The preacher incessantly nags the prostitute, who at the peak of her annoyance yells at him, "For God's sake, there is no such thing as darkness." But that is when Jackie and Sister Mariella break through the bus's roof and land in front of them. This sudden crash through the roof makes the driver lose control of the bus, and he ends up crashing into a nearby toy store. The impact of the crash sends Jackie and Sister Mariella flying through the windshield and into the toy store. Jackie is momentarily knocked out, and Sister Mariella uses this opportunity to head deeper into the store while trying to preserve her strength. Typical of a woman, gets you all interested, then goes off to do her own thing. All this while, an automated bear in the toy store has been repeating the phrase, "Welcome boys and girls, welcome to the world of toys." "Taste Extinction Furball!" screams Jackie out of frustration as he stabs the stuffed bear. Jackie unleashes the true extent of his powers and says, "Welcome boys and girls, welcome to my world of darkness. You hear me, you bitch? You better believe me when I say this is your world too." The Darkness number 17, the Magdalena's lineage. The police officers have now arrived on the scene of the crash, and so have the paramedics. They are currently attending to the prostitute who the street preacher was talking to. She is badly injured and is being taken to the hospital, and the street preacher insists on going with her by threatening the paramedics. Meanwhile, inside the toy store, Jackie is busy tracking Sister Mariella, who uses a Darth Vader toy to distract him. She then jumps on his head and smashes his face into the ground. The two then begin to fight, but are evenly matched. The fight continues until Sister Mariella manages to kick Jackie in the nuts. Come on boys, it's gonna be okay, just shake it off." Sister Mariella then tries to attack Jackie with a knife, but that is when Jackie decides that he has had enough. Jackie kicks her in the face, punches her, picks her up, and then slams her into a nearby pile of Elmo dolls. Sister Mariella gets up more determined than ever to exact revenge on Jackie, but that is when the voices coming from the Elmo dolls distracts her. "Mother of God! What kind of evil is at work here? This is your doing, isn't it?" And this statement makes Jackie realize that Sister Mariella might be more brainwashed than he had expected. After all, it's not like talking toys are a new invention. Sister Mariella inquires about the toys, and as soon as Jackie is distracted by her, she shoots him in the gut. Jackie has had enough. He uses his darkness powers to trap Sister Mariella in numerous tentacles. He slowly begins to squeeze the life out of her, and Sister Mariella simply accepts her fate. "You may have defeated me, but you cannot prevail against the forces of God." Hearing this, something changes inside Jackie, and he lets her go. Jackie himself is surprised by this action, but he then decides to ask her who she is and why she is chasing Jackie. Sister Mariella goes on to recount to Jackie that she is a descendant of a woman that was saved by Christ before he was crucified. Since her ancestor was saved by him, each one from their bloodline has served the church. Her ancestor was chosen as one of Christ's apostles, and since then, each one of them has wielded the power of Magdalena. But Sister Mariella does not reveal to Jackie that she doesn't wield this power yet. Suddenly, both of them are ambushed by the police officers, and this gives Jackie the chance to unleash his underlings upon them. They have been quite hungry since the entire fight started, and they can now feast upon the police officers. But when Jackie turns around after unleashing his underlings, he realizes that Sister Mariella has escaped. We then catch up with Cardinal Innocent, who has summoned Father Jasper once again. He pretends to be innocent in front of Jasper, although while making him believe that the boy has a major part to play in the events that are going to occur. The darkness number 18, the deception. Unfortunately for Father Jasper, the time has come that he answered for the events that have just occurred. And although Cardinal Innocent had painted this as something glorious, it turns out he had only set up Father Jasper to take the fall for him. Father Jasper is currently being prosecuted in front of the Inquisitors, and they are charging him with the crime of sending Magdalena for a mission before her training was complete. Cardinal Innocent gestures for Jasper to agree to the charge, and once he does, the Grand Inquisitor says, "See the lack of repentance at his actions. See the willful pride. It is a bad case with a high price to pay." And this is when Father Jasper realizes that he messed up. He tries to ask Cardinal Innocent for help, but the Cardinal simply ignores him. Father Jasper is quickly gagged and thrown into the dungeons, sending her to face the most powerful of adversaries before her training was complete. 2,000 years of holy service betrayed by arrogance and ambition. The entire order is completely oblivious to the fact that this entire thing was orchestrated by Cardinal Innocent. Meanwhile, Jackie is up on a skyscraper discussing Magdalena's attack on them with his underlings. Jackie plans to put an end to this once and for all because, in his own words, he never again wants to be attacked by a Bible-humping bimbo. All this while, Sister Mariella is blaming herself for the failure to complete her mission and to kill the darkness. But that is when the Reverend Sisters arrive and tell her that it is time that she received the power of light. The light of Magdalena, a power that exposes and makes the victim relive all their sins. We now head to the hospital to check in with the street preacher at the prostitute. Surprisingly, the two of them are now on good talking terms, and they introduce themselves to each other. The prostitute's name is Agnes, and the preacher's name is Isaac. Agnes has managed to survive the crash with superficial injuries, while Isaac is completely unhurt. There is a huge parallel being portrayed here between the prostitutes and the story. The Magdalena ancestor that was selected by Christ was also a prostitute that was being stoned to death. Similarly, the current host of the darkness, Jackie, is also a child of a prostitute. As Agnes and Isaac leave the hospital, Isaac shows her how they actually managed to survive. It was all because of the spear of destiny. He pulls out the broken pieces of the spear that he managed to grab before the crash. Isaac tells Agnes that when he saw the spear, he knew it was important, a relic from God, because it was glowing just like it is right now. Isaac held the spear and prayed for their survival, only to see his wish come true. Isaac then decides to leave the spear in the hospital so that it can help the other people as well. He places it on a gurney and then leaves the hospital with Agnes. Fate works in mysterious ways because the gurney is intended for Don Franchetti's daughter, Apollonia. Back at the church, Sister Mariella is already going through the ritual. First, all of her clothes are removed and she is baptized in a mysterious blue liquid. Once that is done, a knife is stabbed directly through her palm, and the blood is mixed in a chalice with the same mysterious liquid. Sister Mariella then drinks the liquid from the chalice, and this is what grants her the light of Magdalena. The timing is perfect, because once the ritual is done, she is ambushed by Jackie. This time, Jackie is accompanied by his underlings, and this seems to be the correct decision, because the Reverend Sisters are also about to join the fight. One of them hurls a knife at Jackie, but it stabs one of the underlings directly in the throat. "Oh my god, they killed Lenny, you bastards!" The Reverend Sister stands there triumphantly, only for the underlings to then throw some poop on her face. This begins the confrontation between Jackie and Sister Mariella once again, who this time uses the light of Magdalena on him. Jackie remembers every person he has killed since he became Don Franchetti's hitman, and this momentarily makes him lose his powers. Sister Mariella tells Jackie to remember everyone he has killed, and to look into their faces, only for Jackie to then throw this thing right back in her face. He tells her to remember all the people that have fallen victim to the Magdalenas over the years. "Oh please, Sister Mariella, what you call evil I call freedom of choice. At least I never forced anyone to worship me, and I left each and every one of my women plenty satisfied. How many of your victims from the Inquisition can say the same?" Sister Mariella is momentarily speechless, and Jackie uses this to his advantage by restraining them all using his powers. And right at this moment, Cardinal Innocent is being forgiven by the Grand Inquisitor for his failure with Father Jasper. Similarly, we see that the street preacher Isaac wasn't exactly right in the head, and Agnes was correct in the first place to avoid him. She should have trusted her instincts, because Isaac has killed her in cold blood. After having availed her services, covered in the blood of Agnes, he looks up to the sky, closes his eyes, and prays to God. "I deliver you from evil. The devil won't tempt me or you anymore. You're free. I deliver you. I deliver you. I deliver you." Similarly, we see that Apollonia has managed to get a hold of the Spear of Destiny, and she now smiles menacingly because the light of Magdalena has now been bestowed upon her. This has happened because back at the church, Jackie has crucified Sister Mariella as well as the Reverend Sisters. The Darkness number 19. Not a kid anymore. Cristofano de Vesci used to work for the Franchetti family. He was Uncle Frankie's top hitman before Jackie showed up, and the sad part is that he used to be Jackie's mentor. He left the family when his wife died, and sadly, all these wounds are tonight being opened up because he has a mysterious visitor at the foot of his bed. A mysterious woman named Manx is paying him a visit tonight. Cristofano de Vesci points a gun at her, but Manx isn't here to play games. She has an offer for Cristofano de Vesci, or rather, a proposition. She, or whoever she is working for, wants Cristofano de Vesci to kill Jackie, and she implies that Jackie might have killed Cristofano de Vesci's wife and made it look like an accident. At first, Cristofano de Vesci wasn't having it, but by the time their conversation comes to an end, it seems that he is starting to believe her. The next day, we catch up with Jackie while he is using a dead man as a shield. Jackie is being shot at by 3 mysterious men, and the bodies laying around them suggests that he was initially attacked by 6. The 3 of them have Jackie cornered, and he has just run out of bullets. Jackie scavenges the man he has just killed and finds a grenade and CD on him. He uses the CD to spot his attackers around the corner and then throws the grenade at them. Although it destroys his apartment, Jackie has finally managed to get rid of his attackers. When he walks up to his telephone, he finds that one of them has survived, and he will now be questioned by Jackie for some answers. However, before Jackie can question the man, the blinking light on the telephone catches his eye. He has some pending messages, 6 in total, and all of them are from Don Franchetti, which means they are top priority. Jackie listens to the messages and realizes that Don Franchetti has tasked him to escort Nicoletta from the airport. Nicoletta is Cristofano de Vesci's daughter, who in turn is Don Franchetti's cousin. Jackie is supposed to pick her up from the airport at 12 o'clock, and it's already 11 right now. He decides to question the survivor while on the way to the airport and leaves. However, even before Jackie has to reach the parking lot, he is attacked by 2 more gunmen. Jackie makes quick work of them, and that is when the survivor tells him that a hit has been ordered on him, worth $100 million. The hit is only for today, and it is the reason why Jackie is being attacked by so many people. In the parking lot, the man informs him that Jackie's car has been rigged to explode, and so Jackie has no choice but to buy a car from a pizza delivery boy that is in the parking lot. Jackie pays the little boy $2,000 cash for his car, stuffs the survivor in its trunk, and then quickly leaves. Because the trunk is a dark place, he lets his underlings guard the survivor. On the way to the airport, Jackie remembers about Nicoletta. She used to be a dorky little kid that had a crush on Jackie, and Jackie was always annoyed by her. He also remembers the most important lesson Cristofano Deveschi had taught him. That family was the most sacred, and if anybody attacked the family, Jackie was to kill them at any cost. Things are quite different when Jackie reaches the airport. Nicoletta is now 18 years old, and she has turned out to be quite a woman. She still has a crush on Jackie, and the sexual tension between them is palpable to say the least. She playfully invites Jackie to the washroom, but he avoids the situation by telling her that he needs to use the loo himself. Usually, Jackie would have given in, but he remembers what Don Franchetti told him. He isn't supposed to lay a finger on her. However, today is destined to be an eventful day for Jackie because he has a $100 million hit on him. To no one except Jackie's surprise, he is attacked by an assassin in the washroom. His assailant tries to strangle Jackie because he wasn't able to smuggle a gun inside the airport. Jackie struggles for a bit until he finally manages to subdue his attacker. When he gets out, he finds that Nicoletta has been waiting for him for quite some time, and they say girls take a long time. What were you doing in there? Eat something bad? Jackie makes an excuse, and the two of them then head to the parking lot. Jackie faces another problem when Nicoletta refuses to get in his pizza delivery car. Jackie has to pick her up and forcefully put her in the car, like a kid. She doesn't appreciate this one bit, and Jackie has to say, "Look, I'm having a really bad day, so let's just drop it, okay? Your day ain't over yet, sweetheart." And when Jackie turns to look at Nicoletta, he finds her pointing a gun straight at him. Darkness number 20, a familiar family surprise. Turns out the gun that Nicoletta was pointing at Jackie was just a joke. She found it under the seat of the car. Jackie tells her to quit fooling around and then drives her to the Plaza Hotel. This is where she'll be staying, and Jackie will come pick her up once he has finished his business. Nicoletta kisses Jackie on the lips before he leaves and fulfills her childhood fantasy. Jackie then goes to question the man in the trunk of his car and finds out that the hit was ordered by Mr. King. Mr. King is a strip club owner, and Jackie now plans to pay him a much-needed visit. Jackie's captive tells him that Mr. King is at a club named Ecstasy. When Jackie shows up to the club, he is propositioned by numerous women. Jackie politely avoids them and then goes in the back to find Mr. King. Although he is stopped by Mr. King's bodyguards, he makes quick work of them. He then heads inside, points a gun straight at Mr. King's head, and demands answers. "I am Don Franchetti's #1 hitman, so you better start talking. Who ordered the hit? You are with the Franchettis." "Oh shit, man. I didn't know. It was ordered by a freaky chick named Manx. I just set up the hit. She never told me her boss's name. Before you ask. Plaza Hotel, penthouse suite." Mr. King is a reasonable man, and for a moment it seems that Jackie might even like him. But before this moment can come to fruition, he is again attacked by hitmen due to the hit that has been ordered on them. Jackie manages to save Mr. King and then shoots 3 men on his way out. But this time, there are simply too many of them, and Jackie is forced to use his powers of the darkness. Side note, the artists always have fun with the darkness. Whenever Jackie is drawn alongside his underlings, there is always a quirky joke hidden underneath it all. We recently mentioned the reference to South Park, and this time when Jackie uses his powers in the strip club, one of his underlings is dressed like a stripper. It's quite fun to find the subtle references and jokes whenever you're reading a comic. If you spot any, make sure to mention them in the comments below. Back to the story. A mysterious woman in the club informs someone on the call with her that Jackie has managed to subdue most of his attackers. She is supposed to be the backup plan, a kamikaze of sorts. She runs at Jackie and then triggers her explosive vest. Jackie manages to survive the explosion but is thrown into a nearby alley. While down and exhausted, Jackie is again attacked by another hitman, but this time his life is saved by Cristofano Deveschi. Contrary to what Jackie and the world was led to believe, Cristofano Deveschi himself had killed his wife. He reveals to Jackie that he had killed her because she was threatening to go to the police and reveal all of Don Franchetti's dirty dealings. However, Cristofano Deveschi is in a pickle of his own. He tells Jackie that his daughter Nicoletta has been kidnapped, and whoever has kidnapped her is forcing Cristofano Deveschi to kill Jackie. "Find her, Jackie. Save her. She is the only thing I got," Jackie assures Cristofano Deveschi and promises to get Nicoletta back. It is night by the time Jackie reaches the Plaza Hotel, and he isn't holding back this time. He is using the entire extent of his powers. He gets to the penthouse suite, only to find that he is facing mysterious henchmen or henchwomen, in this case, dressed in gimp suits. Jackie uses his powers to subdue subdue them all, only to then be stopped by a mysterious old woman. "Hello, Jackie. I believe I am the one you are looking for. My name is Jackie Estacado, but you can call me Grandma." This revelation hits Jackie like a bullet in the chest. "Yes, I am your real grandmother. Trying to kill you? Yes, I am, but not anymore. That game is over for now. Nothing personal." Adrienne goes on to reveal to Jackie that she wanted the powers of the darkness. If Jackie had died today, she would have gotten all the powers. But now that the moon is up and the day is over, it can no longer happen. However, the game isn't over here. She will be back again next year. Jackie is tired of people chasing him and trying to hunt him down. This has been happening since the day he got the powers of the darkness. And like always, Jackie decides to end it all at this moment. He pulls out his gun and shoots his grandmother directly in the head. However, to Jackie's dismay and our surprise, the bullet in the head is simply an inconvenience to his grandmother. Turns out, she has a little bit of the darkness in her, and this makes her immortal. But now, after all these years, she wants all of the powers of the darkness. But Jackie is a professional hitman. He knows that he does not need to kill his grandmother to stop her from coming after him. "Don't be foolish. Look outside where my helicopter awaits." And this is when Jackie realizes that his grandmother has captured Nicoletta. She promises to set Nicoletta free in exchange for Jackie leaving them alone. Jackie is forced to watch as his grandmother leaves in the helicopter, and then, when she is at a safe distance, she throws Nicoletta out of it. Jackie uses the powers of the darkness to conjure up wings and then saves Nicoletta. Nicoletta was blindfolded all this while, and so she doesn't understand that Jackie has the powers of the darkness. He makes up a story that he jumped after her with a rope to save her. Jackie takes Nicoletta back to her father, and as he watches the helicopter fly away, he promises his grandmother one thing: that he will be back too, and he will be back with vengeance. The Darkness, number 21 and number 22, Jenny Returns. This issue opens up by reintroducing Jenny, Jackie's childhood friend, and his only family. She's being chased by monsters through the streets of a mysterious town named Wormwood. They are everywhere, and there is not a human in sight to ask for help. She finally reaches a phone booth and manages to contact Jackie. Unfortunately, Jackie does not pick up, and so she records a message for him. She tells him all about her predicament and then slumps to the floor in the phone booth. However, the last we see of Jenny is when the phone booth is swamped by the monsters. Jackie did not pick up the phone because he is busy protecting Don Franchetti. Franchetti is holding a meeting with all the bosses of New York because he plans to change how the mafia operates drastically. An assassination attempt is made on Don Franchetti's life, but it is thwarted by Jackie. When Jackie reaches home, he listens to the message Jenny left, and realizing that Jenny is in danger, Jackie quickly springs into action. Even though we've seen Jackie quite angry in the past, we've never seen him like this. He is so angry that subconsciously, he has more control over the darkness than ever. His underlings are more defined, more menacing, and somehow more human-like. But there is one problem. Jackie doesn't know where Wormwood is, and he can't find it on any map. Jackie calls Butcher Joyce to inquire about Wormwood. Even Butcher Joyce doesn't know where the town is, but he tells Jackie about a man that might. His name is Mandolin. Mandolin is a Native American individual, and he has a tough life in America. He is currently being tortured by racist cops, and he seems to have accepted his fate. Jackie never liked bullies, and so he uses the powers of the darkness to kill the cops. When Mandolin learns about Jackie's predicament, he decides to lead Jackie to Wormwood himself. On the way there, he tells Jackie about the history of Wormwood. Wormwood is an old Native American Indian town where young warriors would go to prove their bravery. Survivors from the town were believed to have been touched by God, and it seems that the town mysteriously changes its location every now and then. Jackie doesn't believe in these folk tales and is growing tired by every passing second, but that is when both of them are confronted by a horrifically disfigured man who says, "Welcome to hell." Before Jackie and Mandolin can do anything, they are attacked by the denizens of Wormwood. Jackie fights them valiantly while Mandolin desperately tries to save his own life. The situation becomes dire when Mandolin is in grave danger, but Jackie's underlings manage to save him in the nick of time. The fight is soon interrupted by the town's sheriff and mayor. The sheriff's name is Emil Cruikshank, and the mayor's name is Jedediah McMahon. The citizens have kidnapped Jenny and are holding her hostage. They are threatening to kill her unless Jackie helps them. Jackie then learns the truth about Wormwood. Turns out, an establishment point in Wormwood was created by one of Jackie's ancestors named Antonio. Antonio never learned to control the power of the darkness, and so he had planned to let it loose in the town. However, the darkness slaughtered everyone in the town, and Antonio left. But like his grandmother, some part of darkness was left in the town which turned the citizens immortal. However, immortality came at a cost for them because they were now bound to the town forever. Although a touching story, Jackie has zero care for them. Jedediah McMahon demands that Jackie unbind the citizens from the town so that they can remake the world in their own image. Jackie doesn't plan on helping these people, and so he looks at Jenny and says, "Do you trust me?" "Always." Jackie then gets ready to attack them, and before the sheriff can shoot Jenny, his entire hand is then sliced off by one of Jackie's underlings. Jenny escapes in the car with Magdalena, while Jackie tries to absorb the entire town. This process is exhausting to say the least, and although Jackie manages to absorb the entire town, the cursed souls manage to escape. But this is a problem for another day. Jenny hugs Jackie tightly and thanks him for saving her. Although much needed, Jackie and Jenny's reunion is short-lived. Jenny is leaving again, and Jackie is sulking about it. "Don't talk that way. This isn't about you. This is about me. I just need some more time to, find myself." Jenny was there when Magdalena told Jackie that the cursed souls might return someday to hunt him down. Jackie isn't worried about it, but Jenny implores him to explore why this always happens to him and his loved ones. She then kisses him on the cheek and says, "Just promise me you will take care of yourself. Thank you for saving me. Maybe it is someday I get to return the favor." But deep down, Jackie knows that she has already saved him again. The Darkness, number 23 and number 24, The Return of an Old Enemy. We begin our story at an asylum for the criminally insane. Agent Carla Denton is visiting the facility for a meeting with a serial sex offender named Walter Kalowski. The officers at the facility are chauvinistic pigs, but Carla manages to get her meeting with Walter. The way Walter has been restrained in his cell gives us a glimpse into his deviance. He's inside an iron cell, locked in a steel cage, held by stainless steel restraints, and then finally tied up using leather straps. At first, Walter refuses to speak to Carla in English. The officers make fun of her, but then Carla converses with Walter in an unknown language. This time Walter answers, and Carla promptly shoots the officers. She then turns back towards Walter to free him, only to realize that he has already freed himself. Their confrontation reveals that Walter is a supernatural entity called a necrobus. He thrives and derives his powers from deviant sexual acts. In exchange for her life, Carla promises him the time of his life, and all he has to do in exchange is to kill Jackie. Elsewhere in New York City, we catch up with Dr. Kim Fang, a professional surgeon by day and a sex addict by night. She is comfortably having a bath when she hears her doorbell ring. She answers it only to find Jackie's underlings, desperately begging for help because Jackie has been shot. Jackie was shot during the day, which is why the darkness was unable to save him. They desperately plead for her help, but she refuses to help Jackie, and so the underlings are forced to threaten her. They threaten to blind her, which forces Kim to reluctantly help Jackie. While Jackie is lying on her bed, one of the underlings finds his diary, and in it, they find Wenders' number. He has been written down as Jackie's emergency contact and the only person that he trusts with his life. The underlings call Wenders and inform him of the same, and Wenders is touched that Jackie trusts him so much. But there is a slight power problem. He is currently being assaulted by a group of homophobic men. The underlings tell Wenders to point the phone at them, and once he does that, the darkness shoots out of the phone and kills all the men. When Wenders arrives at Kim's house, he discovers that she has already patched up Jackie. This is when Jackie wakes up, but fails to recognize Kim, which sends her into a frenzy. He ignores her and instead calls his boss, Don Franchetti. Jackie is worried that if there was an assassination attempt on his life, then there could be one on Uncle Frankie's life as well. But when he calls his uncle, the phone is answered by a voice that sounds too familiar. It is his own voice. A person that looks and sounds exactly like Jackie seems to have taken his identity. Don Franchetti is currently in Las Vegas, and so Jackie has to go confront his imposter. He, Wenders and Kim are holed up in a roadside motel for the night. Kim has managed to get them a room by seducing the motel owner. Kim is annoyed that they didn't simply fly to Las Vegas, and Jackie reveals that he does not want to leave a paper trail. Kim goes to have a bath, and then Wenders reveals that he doesn't trust her and that they shouldn't be taking her with them. However, Jackie wants to cover all his bases, which is why he's keeping Kim around. Moreover, because it is night now, Jackie is more than safe. He summons his underlings to form a perimeter around their their motel room. Wenders, meanwhile, goes to get them some food. At the same time, Walter and Carla are in New York City. Walter has been alive on Earth for 10 centuries, and although he has ravaged every woman in history, Carla is the one that has managed to satisfy him the most. Carla reminds him that he has to kill Jackie, and Walter is more than happy to carry out the deed for her. Wenders, meanwhile, is having a tough time with the locals because they are also homophobic. His life is threatened when he goes to a diner to get some food. Meanwhile, back at the motel, when Kim comes out from the bathroom, she realizes that Jackie's underlings have stolen all her clothes. Jackie thinks it is funny, which prompts Kim to kick him in the nuts. As she wears her clothes, she reminds Jackie of how they met. When Kim was a medical intern, she was in a lot of debt with Frankie Franchetti because he had paid for her college. In exchange to clear her debt, Jackie had forced her to sleep with him, and because Jackie doesn't even recognize her in the present day, she is beyond angry. Now, every patient I see, every person I treat, every time I look into their eyes, I see you standing over me, smiling, reaching into me and tearing out a piece of my soul for your own sick pleasure. So don't feel bad if you don't remember me. You see, I've been trying to forget myself ever since. Back at the diner with Wenders, something unexpected happens. Just as he is about to be beaten up by the locals, the entire diner erupts in flames. Wenders is barely able to make it out of there before the fire gets to him. But by the time he exits the dinner, he realizes the fire is intentionally avoiding him. When Wenders looks back, he realizes why. Back at the motel, Jackie apologizes to Kim, and the two of them reconcile their differences. They hugged, but their moment of happiness was short-lived. Wenders comes running to them and shows them the fire chasing him. It is a giant twisted monster with no eyes and a huge mouth, but Jackie doesn't flinch. Instead, he has been itching for a fight ever since. He unleashes his underlings with renewed vigor and allows the monster to eat them all. The underlings tear the monster from the inside, killing him in the process. Once the deed is done, Jackie bends down and picks up the remains of the monster. Because he is the host of the darkness, he recognizes the scent, and it belongs to his eternal nemesis, the one that currently possesses the body of his boss's wife, Angelus. The Darkness number 25, Reunions. Jackie and Wenders are now driving to Las Vegas. They've left Kim behind for her own safety. For the moment, this makes Wenders wonder if Jackie has changed. Jackie can't help but think about everything that has happened since his 21st birthday. He remembers how his life was simple before he got the power of the darkness. Jackie was a no-nonsense hitman for the Franchetti family, and he liked sex. A lot. I mean a lot. But since he got the power of the darkness, he has been haunted by choices, and somehow he has been making the correct ones. He then remembers what Jenny had told him. Try to do as much good as possible. Either way, the only thing that Jackie is sure about is that he is living one mucked up life. We then catch up with Don Franchetti, who is busy talking to his daughter Apollonia, who still isn't responding to her father. Don Franchetti vows revenge on the person that did this to his daughter, kisses Apollonia on the lips, and then leaves. But once he does, we see Apollonia clutch her fists, appalled by her father's gesture. Wenders and Jackie have now reached Las Vegas, and the first thing Jackie does upon reaching is buy himself a crisp suit. As they leave the establishment where Jackie bought his suit, they notice that a woman has been following them. Jackie sends his underlings after her, but the underlings soon find out that they bit on more than they could chew. The woman uses the power of light and destroys them all. Don Franchetti is in a bad mood, which is why he snaps at his bodyguard and dismisses him for the night. Don Franchetti is supposed to go and meet his daughter for dinner tonight, but after dismissing his bodyguard, he hears someone scream outside his room. He decides to investigate the noise himself, only to then be ambushed by a man in black armor. The wall behind him is covered in blood, and it is likely that he has killed Don Franchetti's bodyguard. The man reveals himself to be Riccardo Armato, the lover of Don Franchetti's wife Lauren, the one he had murdered in front of her. Somehow, Riccardo is back from the dead, and this could mean nothing good for Don Franchetti. The imposter pretending to be Jackie is having dinner with Apollonia downstairs in the casino. He cryptically tells her that he has never liked her, and after tonight, he won't have to pretend. Simultaneously, the real Jackie and Wenders are slowly creeping through the casino upstairs, looking for Don Franchetti. Jackie doesn't like creeping like this, so he turns off the light and uses his powers of the darkness to summon his underlings. They run out to search for Don Franchetti, Franchetti, but are instantly burned to a crisp. When Wenders sees this, he runs for his life. Jackie doesn't understand what just happened, but whoever scared Wenders like this couldn't mean anything good. Suddenly, the mysterious woman that was previously following Jackie appears out of nowhere. She tells him that Don Franchetti has been kidnapped and he is being held by the Angelus. The woman informs him that Don Franchetti is being held at the Golden Fleece Casino. She then kisses him on the lips and leaves Jackie with another mystery because she claims to be his sister. Moments later, Don Franchetti wakes up in the basement of the Golden Fleece Casino, and he gets another shock of his life when he sees his wife as the Angelus standing in front of him. She goes on to tell him everything that happened that night. That night, when she turned into the Angelus, and when Apollonia was rendered catatonic. She goes on to recount how the power of the Angelus was repelled by Apollonia's ambition, and so it instead chose Lauren's body. Over the past year, Lauren has often wondered why she was chosen as the host, and she has come to the conclusion that this was all because of what Frankie did. She tells him that Apollonia watched everything unfold the night he tortured and killed Ricardo. If he hadn't done that, maybe she would have been chosen as the host by the Angelus, and moreover, Lauren wouldn't have been in a catatonic state for over 20 years. The Angelus then shoves her hand inside Frankie's chest and pulls out his still beating heart. Frankie screams in horror, only for the Angelus to then laugh and tell him that it was just an illusion. However, she's done playing games now. She orders Ricardo to kill Frankie, but before Ricardo can carry out the deed, he is shot in the chest by the imposter Jackie. Apollonia has been watching all of this unfold from her wheelchair without moving a muscle. She watches her mother use the power of the Angelus to burn Jackie and finish off the darkness. But the flames don't affect him. The imposter Jackie then begins to laugh because the Angelus has exhausted herself by trying to kill the darkness with a single sweep. However, his victory is short-lived because Apollonia soon gets up from her wheelchair and shoots him in the chest. The imposter Jackie falls to his knees, and much to Apollonia's dismay, it is revealed that he is none other than Lord Sonatine. This is when the real Jackie and Wenders reach the basement, only to then be attacked by Apollonia. Jackie then summons a huge darkling named Mel, who knocks Apollonia out easily. Meanwhile, Wenders goes on to check on Lord Sonatine, and the latter reveals that he did all this so that he could kill the Angelus in her weakened state. Jackie uses this distraction to free Don Franchetti. He then encases his boss in a cocoon of darkness and then decides to attack the Angelus and Apollonia. The Angelus manages to put up a good fight against Jackie, but his underlings manage to grab Apollonia. This forces her to lose control, and Jackie uses this opportunity to capture her. He restrains her using the powers of the darkness, but is soon stabbed in the back by Ricardo. Jackie is in a weakened state, and the Angelus uses this opportunity to free herself and her daughter. We then catch up with Lord Sonatine and Wenders. Lord Sonatine manages to get Wenders close to him and then kisses him on the lips. This makes the two of them switch bodies, and so he is now in Wenders' body. Suddenly, the entire basement echoes with the screams of the Angelus. Jackie has used Ricardo's blade to cut the Angelus. It was the sacred blade of the christening, and this causes the Angelus to explode. The entire casino is destroyed, but Jackie and Wenders have managed to survive. Jackie looks through the rubble and grabs his boss, Don Franchetti, who is in an unconscious state. Meanwhile, Wenders grabs Lord Sonatine's body, and the two of them make their escape. Jackie is completely unaware that Lord Sonatine now inhabits the body of Wenders. Lord Sonatine uses this opportunity to make Jackie believe that both of his adversaries, Angelus and Lord Sonatine, are dead. This earns him Jackie's complete trust, and Lord Sonatine can now begin to hatch his new plan. The Darkness number 26, number 27, and number 28, Carla's Truth and the Necrobi's Revenge. The story starts by showing us Carla's past. When she was an FBI agent, she used to be in love with Todd. Todd was her fiancé and an undercover federal agent. Carla remembers how he was tasked to infiltrate Marchiani's gang. Unfortunately, this brought him into the crosshairs of Frankie Franchetti, who ordered a hit on him. Todd is the same man Jackie murdered in the first comic. When Carla learned about Todd's murder, she was heartbroken, to say the least. She was devastated. She spent weeks, even months, simply lying in her bed trying to survive. Then one day, Out of nowhere, she is contacted by Gleekman from the Washington office. They finally have a lead on Todd's murderer. This lead comes in light of Marchiani's murder. Marchiani was murdered by Frankie Franchetti for secretly stealing and embezzling money from him. The investigation into the murder has revealed that Frankie first thought that it was Todd who was embezzling money from him, which is why Franchetti ordered a hit on him, which was carried out by none other than Jackie Estacado. This is when Carla began to investigate Jackie. She met with many people that we have seen in the past, including Joe Siri, the chief of the group of renegade cops that call themselves the White Bulls. Carla even ended up discovering the only two people that Jackie truly cares about, Butcher Joyce and Jenny Romano. Carla then discovered another mysterious word associated with Jackie, the darkness. And her investigation into the darkness leads her to India. She was in pursuit of a mysterious old man called the Nameless One. The Nameless One goes on to reveal to Carla the tale about the Angelus and the darkness. The Nameless One reveals to Carla that Jackie is the current host of the darkness and that no human on Earth can kill him. But he also gives her another clue. He tells her about the Necrobi, a race of shadow dwellers that feeds on the sexual energy of humans. And this is how Carla finally found Walter. Walter was a necrobus, and currently she is doing everything in her power to feed him energy. But the Nameless One had warned her that if she demanded help from the Necrobi, she would end up losing her soul. And that is what is currently happening. Carla is lying in the bed after satisfying Walter once again as she tells us, "Was it worth it? I'll know soon. 1 week from now, Jackie will be dead. Todd will be avenged, and me, I will be the princess who slayed the darkness. All it cost was everything." Jackie, meanwhile, is busy enjoying the sunrise high atop a skyscraper in New York City. Much to his underlings' dismay, Jackie refuses to leave the light which kills them all. Jackie decides to go to the hospital to see his boss, Don Franchetti, and once he is gone, Lord Sonatine, who is in Wenders' body, picks up the ash left over by Jackie's underlings. Lord Sonatine is hoping that he can somehow use these remains to take the power of the darkness from Jackie. Jackie is going to meet his boss to discuss why Don Franchetti never told Jackie about his sister. But when he reaches there, we see that Don Franchetti is conducting his business from the hospital, and currently he is angrily screaming at his goons for not being able to set up their business in Gotham City because of Batman. Instead of discussing his sister, Don Franchetti and Jackie end up talking about all that had happened at the Golden Fleece Casino. We then catch up with Lord Sonatine, who is shipping off his original body with Wendell's soul inside it to Russia. We then see him meet up with Butcher Joyce, who still thinks that he is Jackie's friend Wenders. Back at the hospital, Don Franchetti has finally calmed down. Jackie is now trying to ask him about his sister. At first, Frankie tries to lie. He tells Jackie that she was simply too good and too innocent to be destroyed by their world. But when Jackie continues to press Don Franchetti, he finally gives and tells the truth. He tells him that Lord Sonatine haunted him for days to recruit Jackie and to mentor him. And when he decided to look into Jackie, he found out about both the orphans. This included his sister. Franchetti then tries to spin the story again by telling him that he did not bring Jackie's sister into the family because she was simply too innocent and too good for this world. Save your humanitarian act for the papers. I know you have always been selfish. Don't push it. I like you, Jackie, but don't push it. But Don Franchetti has already snapped. He tells Jackie the entire truth. He tells him that he didn't tell Jackie about his sister because he wanted complete control over him. Don Franchetti then reminds Jackie about Jenny Romano. He asks him to remember how she was roped into everything just because she was related to Jackie. Jackie understands his boss finally. The two of them hug, and then Don Franchetti sends Jackie to Gotham. He promises to tell him everything about his sister once Jackie comes back. We then head back to the docks, where Lord Sonatine is using his powers on Butcher Joyce to learn everything that he knows about Jackie. When we catch up with Jackie again, he's sitting on a park bench, daydreaming about Dr. Kim again. He dreams of reconciling his relationship with her, and the two of them share a passionate kiss. He then snaps back to reality, only to find out that the attempt to reconcile with Dr. Kim is only going to lead to a slap for now. She is too distraught by his actions, and although she understands that Jackie is sorry, she will need some time for now. Unbeknownst to Jackie, Carla and Walter are only 30 blocks away from him. Walter is enjoying a swim in the fountain as Carla asks him if he's ready to kill Jackie now. Walter tells her that he will be ready soon. The in-between. Jackie's visit to Gotham is a story for another time, that he is ambushed by Carla and Walter in the sewers. Sarah too has been roped into this confrontation, and right now, Carla is getting ready to kill Jackie while Walter absorbs human souls from Sarah, who is the current host of the Witchblade. Now that you are all caught up, let's dive right back into the story. Before Carla can shoot and kill Jackie, he punches her in her face and then holds a knife to her throat. In this moment of urgency, Jackie ends up using the powers of the darkness and his underlings in a new way. He uses the darkness to transport them all into the lower sewers, away from Walter and Sarah. But Carla isn't going down this easily. She fights Jackie again, and the two of them fall into the waters. They fight underwater and Jackie manages to overpower her, but in a moment of compassion, he lets her go and apologizes for murdering her fiancé. This comes as a shock to Carla, who put everything she had on the line to kill Jackie. She tells him about how she investigated him, found out about the darkness, and then finally, about Walter. She tells him how she has been feeding Walter to prepare him for killing Jackie, but Jackie is done here. Despite Carla's protests, he simply decides to walk away from the sewers. But before leaving, he throws Carla's knife back at her, and Carla too goes through a moment of growth in this instant. She decides not to pursue Jackie, but instead calls upon the excellent FBI agent she used to be, and decides to save Sarah instead. By now, Walter has managed to absorb almost all the human souls from Sarah. He tells her that once he has killed the darkness and the Witchblade, his kind would no longer have to hide in the sewers. They would take to the surface and rule the entire planet. Jackie, meanwhile, has reached the surface, but he is facing a desperate internal struggle, and his underlings can feel this, and they don't want Jackie to make the wrong choice. Deep down, they know Jackie wants to go back and save Sarah, and so all of them decide to protest. The writers and the artists have always used Jackie's underlings as a way to make pop culture references, and this panel is no different. Jackie's underlings are protesting in a dramatic fashion while holding up signboards that we usually see at protest rallies. The signboards have the following messages written on them: Witchblade or bust. Hell no, we won't go without Sarah. All vote to protect Sarah. And while this is going on, one of the underlings dressed as a politician gives a dramatic speech. We're talking about justice here. We are talking about reaching down into the center of yourself and facing the man trapped inside the abyss of despair and depravity. You know, brother Jackie, that we only exist to serve your every whim, your darkest desire. We wouldn't be here if you did not want us to be. Surprisingly, the speech works, and Jackie's eyes blaze with fire as he decides to go back and save Sarah. Meanwhile, down in the sewers, Walter is about to kill Sarah, but he gets shot in the chest by Carla. But by now, Walter has become too powerful, and bullets are no match for him. He knocks out Carla easily. Walter then is about to kill Sarah when Jackie shows up on the scene. The downside of the Witchblade's power is that Sarah can't control it. But this time, Jackie needs help defeating Walter, and so he ends up exchanging a little bit of his power with Sarah. This little bit of exchange has awakened the darkness side of Witchblade inside Sarah, and she can now control her powers better than ever. And this means the end of Walter. Sarah and Jackie join hands to defeat Walter, and they manage to overpower him easily. Jackie then unleashes his underlings on the necrobi that hide in the sewers, which takes care of the entire threat. Jackie and Sarah then rescue Carla and the rest of the humans that were trapped below from the sewers. Sarah and Jackie then go their separate ways, and although Sarah wants to thank him, she knows that he wants to be left alone. She knows that this unlikely alliance would never be spoken of again. The Darkness number 29, number 30, and number 31. The change begins. The coffin that Lord Sonatine plans to ship to Russia is now on Liberty Island, and the Brotherhood is currently trying to open it. Lord Sonatine, who now possesses the body of Wenders, walks in and stops them from doing so. He then reveals his plan to them and tells them all he has learned from Butcher Joyce about Jackie. He claims that he has Jackie right where he wants him to be, but then he gets a call. The call is from Jackie, who tells Wenders that he is going underground for a while. This has put all of Lord Sonatine's plans on hold, and raging with anger, Lord Sonatine crushes the phone. We then see why Jackie is going underground. He has decided to turn the state's evidence against Frankie Franchetti, his former boss. Jackie is taking a plane out of the city alongside his federal escort and bodyguard named Maxim. This is the first time Jackie's underlings have gotten to go on a plane, and they are having the time of their life. Many of them hang from from the plane's wing, and when Jackie spots this, he quickly orders them to go into hiding before they are spotted. Jackie then spots the plane air hostess named Camilla, and he begins to hit on her. In the heat of the moment, the two end up kissing, and Jackie is reprimanded by Maxim for his actions because he could get the air hostess fired from her job. This makes Jackie rethink his actions and how they might have affected the women he has seduced in the past. An hour or so later, the plane lands, and Jackie is busy waiting for his luggage when he spots Camilla, the air hostess, hugging her child named Carter. Maxim is busy taking a call, and Jackie uses this opportunity to go over and meet the kid. Turns out, Carter already knows about Jackie and his underlings. But before Jackie can inquire about this, the police suddenly walk in to perform an impromptu drug check. While they're checking the bags for drugs, a group of mysterious gunmen begins firing on the police officers. Jackie protects Camilla and Carter during this, and Maxim begins firing at the gunman while still on the call. However, Maxim is stopped by a gunman who puts a gun to his head. Jackie uses this opportunity to ambush the gunman and ends up killing him. He then snatches his gun away and shoots out the lights. Once it is dark, Jackie summons his underlings and they make quick work of the mysterious gunmen. When the lights come back on, Maxim is surprised to see that all the gunmen have been injured and incapacitated. However, the silence of the airport is quickly broken by a screaming Camilla who says that the surviving gunmen have managed to kidnap Carter. Jackie isn't sure why, but he ends up believing her. He sends 3 of his underlings after the surviving gunmen that are being taken away by the paramedics. Jackie managed to accomplish this feat because he was wearing an FBI jacket that he had stolen. He is confronted by Maxim for stealing the jacket, but Jackie implores him to ask the real questions. Of all the people the gangsters could have kidnapped, why did they choose Carter? The two of them decide to escort Camilla and get into a car with her. However, once inside the car, Jackie points a gun at her and demands answers. Maxim flips out at this sight and takes out his own gun and points it at Jackie. However, Camilla calms both of them down and tells them her story. She tells them about Carter's father, Jarlos Alvarez Aka Slay. Slay is a gangster that Carla ended up falling in love with. Carter is Slay's baby, and she eventually decided to ditch him to give Carter a normal life. But then, Slay came back into their lives after Carter was diagnosed with a mental condition. She tells them that Carter sees things that aren't actually there. Slay promised to pay for his treatment if Camilla helped him smuggle drugs into the country one last time. But now that the drugs were discovered by the police officers, Carter has been kidnapped as collateral. She begs for Maxim and Jackie to help find her kid. Camilla doesn't care what happens to herself. Maxim wonders how they are going to find Carter, but Jackie tells him to leave that up to him. We then see Jackie's underlings take over the ambulance that is carrying the gunman from the airport. They torture and interrogate the gunman and learn that the kid is being held by Slay at the docks. Jackie and Maxim make their way to the docks, and before Maxim can stop Jackie from endangering his life, he's knocked out by Jackie's underlings using chloroform. Jackie thinks he is being sneaky by infiltrating the warehouse, completely unaware that Slay is watching his every move from the cameras. And this is not the only problem. Once inside, Jackie's underlings inform him that it is sunrise, and most of them quickly start to disappear. This is it for Jackie. He is quickly captured by Slay's men. They hold him at gunpoint and then take him away to an offshore rig that has been converted into an island by Slay. When Jackie reaches the rig, a simple joke gets him a smack on the head. This prompts him to retaliate, and Jackie shoots his assailant. He then goes on to shoot a few more men until being confronted by Slay himself. The gangster wants to know why Jackie is doing this, and Jackie tells him that he is looking for Carter. The two talk business, and Jackie finally manages to persuade Slay into letting him meet Carter. Carter jumps into Jackie's arms, and when he is close to Jackie's ears, he tells him about the Darklings, how they whispered to him every night. Jackie is beyond shocked at this revelation, and all Carter is asking in return is to stop the Darklings from paying him a visit each night. Jackie promises that he will make sure that the Darklings don't visit Carter. With Carter in his arms, Jackie jumps into the sea. Slay sends his men after Jackie and Carter, and unfortunately, they have professional diving suits. Jackie, on the other hand, is hoping that Carter can hold his breath until they reach the dark sea floor. Slay's men start shooting at them, but thankfully, By now, Jackie has reached the dark sea bottom. He uses the powers of the darkness to quickly take out Slay's men. Once he kills them all, he uses their respirators to keep Carter alive. Upon the oil rig, we see that Slay is growing impatient by each passing second, and that is when all hell breaks loose. The entire oil rig starts shaking, and this is because Jackie's underlings are attacking the support beam down in the sea. When Slay falls into the water, Jackie confronts him and feeds him to his darklings. He then escapes with Carter in a boat. The Darkness number 32 and number 33, The Revenge That Starts at All. The story begins at a strip club where a new dancer is stealing the show. Her name is Caprice. The regular girls at the club hate it, but the owner seems to be loving it. Apart from the club, the owner seems to also run a racket of illegal porn videos, and right now, he's cutting a deal with the customer. Once the owner sees the video that he is about to sell, he jacks up the price. The customer refuses to buy the video at the new price, and this prompts Caprice to seduce him. She puts her hand down his pants, and under the pretext of seducing him, she pulls out his gun instead. Caprice shoots up the entire place and kills the owner, and once his guards finally jump into action, Caprice pulls out the Uzis she had hidden under a table and takes care of the guards. The bouncer that was stationed outside intervenes and puts a shotgun to Caprice's head and shoots. To his and everyone's surprise, Caprice is unhurt. Caprice tells him that this is because she was standing in the shadows, and the shadows absorbed the shell. She then kills the bouncer and destroys the porn cassette. She is here to destroy the owner's racket. But before she can do more, a large SUV crashes into the club. These are the backup bodyguards of the and they try to run her over with the SUV. It is now revealed that Caprice wields the powers of the darkness. However, unlike Jackie, she needs to puke the shadows out. The shadows teleport the SUV into the ceiling and then into the ground. This kills the remaining bodyguards, and Caprice, along with the other girls from the club, escapes. The club blows up behind, but Caprice simply goes and lies down in the snow. She makes a snow angel as she remembers how she ended up at this point. Caprice used to be at a Catholic school where she was best friends with the girl named Blair. Father Brendan, who also used to teach at Jackie's orphanage, was the teacher at the school. She spends a fun day at school with Blair, but by nightfall, all her worries begin to manifest. She is afraid of going out into the world alone now that the school is over. Father Brendan calms her down and reassures her that she is going to do great. Once she has calmed down, she wishes goodbye to him and goes to her room. However, once she reaches there, Father Brendan hears her scream loudly. He rushes to Caprice's room and finds her holding Blair's dead body. As Caprice remembers this incident, she tells us, "No, I wasn't always a bitch. The world made me who I am." We then catch up with Caprice in the past again. It has been a week since Blair's murder, and Caprice is currently bathing in a fountain when Father Brendan comes to fetch her. He reassures her that the pain will eventually go away. Caprice and Father Brendan then go to Blair's room to investigate her murder. They find her hidden diary along with 3 tapes. Caprice and Father Brendan watch the tapes and realise that Blair was being taken advantage of by the school janitor. They hand over the tapes to Sheriff Olson to investigate Blair's murder. However, the sheriff's response is disheartening to say the least. "I hate to be the one telling you this, but what was on those tapes never happened. Hank the janitor has been fired. He has already moved on, but it has been decided by everyone involved that it's better if we don't pursue this." Father Brendan desperately tries to oppose this decision, but nothing becomes of it. After this decision, a few months later, Father Brendan becomes chronically ill. Caprice visits him, and Father Brendan finally reveals the truth to her. He tells her all about her twin brother, Jackie Estacado, and his powers of the darkness. In the present day, we catch up with the bodyguards in a huge mansion somewhere in Alaska. They are discussing the recent murders that Caprice committed at Anchorage. Many of them think that this is baloney, but that is when Caprice appears out of nowhere. She's now dressed for combat, and we all know what's going to happen next. She then heads inside the mansion and uses the shadows to take care of the bodyguards. Caprice is here to confront the owner of the mansion, who is none other than Sheriff Olson himself. It turns out that the entire porn racket is being run by Sheriff Olson himself. He was the one who murdered Blair and then covered up the tapes to save himself. He tries to shoot Caprice, but she uses the shadows to split his head wide open. A mysterious man then comes out of the shadows and reveals himself to be Ripclaw. He is the one who has been teaching Caprice how to use her powers, but now that the deed is done, Caprice gets lost in her thoughts again. "I always keep telling myself that the world made me this way, but is that true? After all, all, I am the first twin sister of the darkness. Maybe I was born to be a monster. Maybe I never stood a chance. The Darkness number 34, number 35, number 36, number 37, and number 38. Reunions, Part 2. This issue opens up in a remote part of Florida at a souvenir shop. Jedediah Honkstein, aka Jed, owns the shop. It is right now 1:30 a.m. in the middle of the night when Jed hears a knock at his door. He opens the door while holding a shotgun, only to then be ambushed by the Cherub Hostiles. The Cherub Hostiles are a horde of rogue individuals from the race of cherubims. Cherubims are low-level angels that look like children. They are on a mission to rid the earth of humans so that they can once again rebuild the Garden of Eden as God had intended. They quickly kill Jed, and it is then revealed that they are led by the Conquistador, a human that found them while on the search for the Fountain of Youth. The Conquistador offered himself to be the host of the Cherub Hostile in exchange for immortality. The Cherub Hostile proclaim that the sacred site has been found, and they all begin digging at the souvenir shop. Some went far away. Jackie is enjoying himself in a strip club, but when he orders a drink, he gets the surprise of his life because Jenny is working as the bartender in this place. The two of them have an intense reunion by jumping into each other's arms. Jackie then reveals to Jenny that he is trying to do good and that he has decided to turn in his boss, Frankie Franchetti. Don Franchetti is currently in jail and he is being visited by his lawyer. The lawyer reveals to Franchetti that things aren't looking good, but Frankie is unaffected. Trust me, when Paul comes to shove, Jackie doesn't have the balls to do what needs to be done. Back at the strip club, Jackie wishes Jenny goodbye and leaves the bar. He goes to the car after having a decent night, but is soon ambushed by a couple of thugs. They put a gun to the back of Jackie's head, but Jackie uses the powers of the darkness to scare them away. Jackie thinks his job for the night is done, but he is then ambushed by another mysterious man. This is Robert Bearclaw, who goes by the name Ripclaw. Robert is the living embodiment of all the spirits of this land that have tolerated the existence of the darkness until now. Jackie simply yawns, and the two of them begin to fight. It is a fierce confrontation, and Jackie discovers that Robert is as fast as him. Jackie and Robert are evenly matched, and even with the help of his underlings, Jackie can't get the better of him. However, their confrontation soon comes to an abrupt end when both of them hear Jenny screaming for them to stop. Jackie orders Jenny to get away from Robert because he might hurt her, but that is when Jenny reveals that Robert is her fiancé. Jackie's darklings are always ready to serve up some humour, and even this time, their response is no different. Here comes the bride. The wedding season is here. I love me a wedding. Sadly, it's not only Jackie who's having an amazing time. The Crate Lord Sonatine sent to Russia has finally arrived, and much to Wenders' horror, he has just woken up inside it, while inhabiting Lord Sonatine's original body. Back at the souvenir shop, the Conquistador watches on as they Cherub Hostile dig a hole. He's questioning his choices and pondering over what the Cherub Hostile are going to do once they find the relic that they are looking for. He knows he should stop them because they are going to end humanity, but he gave up that choice long ago in exchange for immortality. Once they are done digging, he said sorry to Jed and then jumps in. We then head to the Office of Federal Affairs in West Virginia, where Lord Sonatine, who now possesses Wenders' body, is ordering the officer in charge to give him all the information they have on Jackie Estacado. However, his plans are soon thwarted when the officer reveals himself to be a demon. He then points a gun to the demon's head and demands for the information that he is looking for. We then catch up with Jackie again. He is taking a walk on the beach with Jenny as she tells him about how she met Robert. Jackie breaks a tree when Jenny confesses to sleeping with Robert. This is too much information for him. Robert and Jenny then ask for his help in defeating the Cherub Hostile. They are a threat to the entire human race. Robert had first intended to kill Jackie and use the power of the darkness for himself to stop the Cherub Hostile. Now he is ready to help teach Jackie how to control the powers of the darkness better. Jackie agrees to help in exchange for this information, and so Robert leads him to the ethereal plane, a place where Jackie can learn to control his powers better. The two of them light a campfire on the beach, gather their blood in a cup, and then throw it into the fire. They need to travel to the ethereal plane because Jackie needs to learn years of control within a few hours. Once they're gone, it is revealed that their bodies on Earth are being protected by Capri's. The Conquistador and the Cherub Hostiles have managed to find the relic that they had been looking for. They can now finally purge the Earth from humanity. The Conquistador now pretends to be a part of that plan, while still regretting his choice to give up his soul in exchange for immortality. He orders the cherub hostiles to go do what they have been waiting to do for over 200 years, and this begins their attack on humanity. Back at the beach, while protecting Jackie and Ripclaw, Caprice is having second thoughts. She is contemplating whether she should kill Jackie and take the powers of the darkness for herself. She soon, however, gives up this idea because she would never betray her mentor Ripclaw. The next page takes us to Jackie and Robert in the ethereal plane. The ethereal plane takes the form of the initiator's inner self, and so right now it is showing us what Jackie is like on the inside. The two of them are sitting in a dilapidated diner. Robert is dressed in a top hat and a suit, while Jackie is wearing a pink rabbit costume. There is not much on the ethereal plane, except for a lot of girls. But the ethereal plane doesn't mess around. Jackie is shown all the moments from his life, the good, the bad, and the ugly ones. He sees himself murdering Todd. He sees Jenny working at the diner. He sees the only other person he cares about, apart from Jenny Butcher Joyce, the coffee that Jackie had ordered, then engulfs them and spits them out at the scene of Jackie's father's murder. Jackie is now destined to witness his father's death. Jackie sees that it was fate that took his father's life and that ended up making him work for Don Franchetti, because his father was killed while trying to confront Jimmy Franchetti. His father lost his powers before he could finish Jimmy off, and once the darkness was gone, he was murdered by Jimmy. Once this scene has played itself out, Jackie is taken to a hospital, and he already knows what's coming. The only time the darkness leaves its host is when a new host is born, and Jackie is now here to witness his own birth. However, once that happens, Jackie is more than confused. His sister is not with him in the nursery, but then the ethereal plane changes, and it is revealed that Jackie's mother had handed Caprice to Father Brendan to save her from the darkness. Back at the beach on Earth, Caprice is still thinking up of ways in which she could get the power of darkness. Right now, she is wondering if she should sleep with her brother to get the powers. She kisses him on the lips, but is soon stopped by Jenny, who holds a shotgun to her head. "Relax, Jenny. I would never do anything to hurt Ripclaw. He was the only one who was ever there for me. You know that, right? You know you're a lucky woman, right?" And Jenny replies, "In every possible way." The two of them then sit there protecting Jackie and Robert while contemplating if Jackie will be able to defeat the cherub hostiles in time. Back in the ethereal plane, Jackie's experiencing a moment that he never had in his real life. He is getting to meet his mother. Jackie sees that his mother is too tired and uses this as an opportunity to chicken out of this situation. However, his mother is a smart woman. She stops him from leaving. Not only that, she knows that this is the future Jackie. "Your sister, did she make it? Is she safe?" "Yeah, Mum." Jackie holds her hands as she asks him questions, and for the first time in the series, we see the adult Jackie reflect the same emotions that we once saw on the 6-year-old Jackie. "A man named Lord Sonatine explained to me what the darkness was before your father died. I told this man you would be stronger than that. I'm sorry I'm not going to be there for you. Promise me you'll do some good." "I promise, Mum. I promise. I'll try to do some good." However, when Jackie is saying this, he can only remember all the bad that he has done in his life. This is it. Jackie's experience in the ethereal plane is now over. Once back, he takes a moment to compose himself. This has been a life-changing experience, and the exact thing he needed for the breakthrough. However, he only gets moments to himself, because on the horizon is a huge swarm of the cherub hostiles. At least 1 million of them. This panel is quite funny. It shows 3 Darklings dressed as iconic movie characters: The Godfather, Indiana Jones, and Sergeant York. The 3 of them stayed at the sky, astonished by the sight in front of them. Millions of cherub hostiles flying right at them. Jackie and Robert are now dressed in their full armor, and Ripclaw urges Jackie to summon a horde of Darklings to defeat the cherubs. Jackie remembers his spiritual journey, how his meeting with the Batman had changed him, how Jenny and his mother had changed him, how he had now decided to go against his boss and do the right thing. And so Jackie is able to use the darkness to summon an army of his own. During this process, he ends up absorbing his sister and Jenny to keep them safe. Even Robert is absorbed during this time. And once that is done, and Jackie's army has been summoned, the attack begins. However, what Robert said before being absorbed is what leaves the mark on Jackie's mind. It is ironic that humanity is being threatened by the angels, while the demons are the ones trying to save it. The battle is full of bloodshed, but the demons Jackie has managed to conjure up this time are more detailed and more powerful. However, during the war, Jackie is engulfed by the darkness. Thankfully, because the darkness had absorbed Caprice, she ended up finding Jackie and calming him down, and once that is done, they both regain their control over the darkness. When Jackie comes back to reality, he sees that his darklings have managed to defeat the cherubs. Not only that, they have also killed the conquistador, and Jackie sees that he even managed to conjure up a T-Rex. However, while Jackie was occupied with this war, trouble started brewing on the other side of the country. Don Franchetti has managed to get free because Jackie disappeared from the witness protection program, and what's more is that he has a new ally, Lord Sonatine in Wenders' body. The Darkness number 40, Death of a New Beginning. Jackie is sitting in an abandoned warehouse, smoking a cigarette. For some reason, he is devastated. We then get closer and see that he has a tape lying next to him. The tape reads, "To my dearest nephew." We all know who this tape is from. It is from Don Franchetti. He's the only one who calls Jackie nephew. Jackie holds his head between his hands as he remembers his past. Something bad has happened because Jackie is spiraling. He's questioning whether he should have tried to be good in the first place. Even though he met his mother, Jenny and Robert, Jackie still can't help but wonder if he made the right choice by trying to do good. He finally gives in and lets out a guttural scream, "Jenny!" Jackie then remembers his past and remembers how he was rescued by Frankie Franchetti from the orphanage. He remembers how he had always been a pawn for Frankie, carrying out all his commands, doing all his dirty deeds. Jackie was nothing but a tool to him. Jackie lights another cigarette as he remembers the moment in which he decided to betray Frankie Franchetti. "Bad move, Jackie, bad move," he says to himself as he deals with the consequences of his actions. We then see how Jackie ended up in this situation. Jackie was in his new apartment busy singing to himself and preparing his dinner when he heard a knock on his door. He was met with Butcher Joyce, who handed him the mysterious tape that is currently lying next to him. But the tape was from Frankie Franchetti, and when Jackie watched it, his heart broke. Because on the tape, Don Franchetti is addressing Jackie, as he says, "You shouldn't have done what you did, Jackie. I loved you like a son, and this is how you repaid me. You took from me my boy. You took from me your own blood. And when blood does that to blood, someone has to pay. So now I take from you." The camera pans down to reveal Jenny tied to a chair with a gag over her mouth. Jackie watches in horror as Frankie Franchetti shoots Jenny, the love of his life, and his childhood friend, directly in the head. Jackie experiences 1,000 emotions at this moment. He remembers their childhood memories as well as their adolescent ones. He remembers how every time he went on a date, Jenny pretended it was all right with her. He remembers the radiant smile on her face, the first time he had given her a rose. This broke Jackie. He simply slumped to the floor and lay there like a dead body. He did that for days. He could hear Robert calling him again and again, but he never answered the phone. How could he face Jenny's fiancé after Jackie's own actions got her killed? As Jackie remembers this entire incident, he says, "I never told her because I was too scared. I never told her that I loved her from the moment I first saw her." Jackie spent days lying on the floor until his father's ghost paid him a visit. "Someone should have told us, son. Someone should have told us that life isn't fair." He tells Jackie that someone big is going to come for him. That someone big is something, and that something is inside him. His father is talking about the darkness, and with Jackie mourning Jenny so profusely it is going to consume him. But Jackie is too fixated on Jenny. He asks his father if she is there in hell, and he simply replies that there is a doorway on earth that leads to hell. "You gotta come find her, son. It's her only chance." And Jackie gets a familiar look of determination on his face. We then catch up with Jackie in the present again. We see the reason why he's been in a warehouse alone. He is waiting for Don Franchetti, who is finally here, along with his men. He has brought hundreds of henchmen along with him. Don Franchetti puts a gun to Jackie's head, but Jackie simply calls him a scumbag. The two have a heated confrontation, where Frankie claims to have done good by adopting Jackie and giving him a life. But Jackie now says Frankie truly for the person that he is. He is a selfish maniac that will do anything to get what he wants. He threatens to shoot Jackie in the head, and in exchange, Jackie simply asks for some time to smoke another cigarette. "Go ahead, knock yourself out. Ain't gonna make a difference to your health one way or the other." Jackie lights a cigarette and then drops the lighter on the floor. You never smelled the gasoline, did you? Jackie's darklings join him, and they hurl their own lighters at the floor. And before Frankie Franchetti can react, the entire warehouse explodes. Jackie sits there in the fire, voluntarily burning himself as he says, "Hold on, Jenny, hold on tight. The darkness can't keep me here anymore. I'm coming for you, baby." And this is how Jackie goes to hell. And this is how he begins his new life. Marvelous verdict. It isn't easy to strike a perfect balance between gore, love, violence, and sex, but somehow the darkness manages to do that perfectly. It creates a symphony of humor, horror, emotion, and honor in a concise manner. The protagonist, Jackie, is just good enough that you root for him, but not good enough that you give up your own values. You see his flaws, and the comic is a perfect example of how flaws do not need to be complex to be perfect, how storylines do not need to be complex to deliver a message. And Jackie's darklings always manage to bring a fresh sense of humor whenever the storyline seems to be going the wrong way. I bet the writers had a blast while writing this comic. The amount of pop culture references in it truly shines. Overall, The Darkness is an excellent read. It is relaxing enough to not stress you, but somehow it always manages to keep you at the edge of your seat. So if you're looking for something refreshing that crosses over with Batman, then The Darkness is definitely a universe that you should jump into.